Hi guys, and welcome to a Death Before Dishonour. We have a special episode today. We are in fact doing a civil war between 4 members of Clan ODM, so it should be very exciting here. And seeing how these guys scrap it out. So we have a bit of brother v brother action, which is going to be very deadly. And up first, we do have the mighty Pacta up against Loopy, which should be pretty damn good. Hopefully I'm saying all their names correctly. I'll have to correct them as I go along if they are in fact a little bit wrong. But welcome. Hope you guys are getting ready and enjoying. So this is going to be our standard best of 3 matchup. Best of 3 4-man tournament with 2 semi-finals and a final. I'm going to be on Troll Country for the first match, which is, as I said before, Pacta versus Loopy. And round 2 is going to be the mighty Zyphos up against Mudkip. And Mudkip, I can confirm, is an incredibly good player because my first ever tournament, funnily enough, I ended up against him in round 1 and got my butt well and truly handed to me. So, okay, these guys are going for a pick and ban, which is fine. I often let my people, I would do a pick and ban or a gentleman's agreement. You were first. Yeah, person on the left. Cool. I'm just going to go grab my phone so I can actually speak to chat. Be back in 2 seconds. Yeah, just filling in stuff around as I grab my phone, but hello, we are here. Oh, at last. Okay, so it should be pretty good. I'm very excited to see these guys play. Of course, ODM is one of the biggest clans in Total War Warhammer. Up there, the people I see most is ODM and Extreme Meme Team. I don't know if that's just because of the people I watch, and they're big in those tournaments, or if they are just tend to be the biggest clans around. Also, QSA, very big as well, the Move Hacker, and Aerocrastic. Oh, looks like we've gone for some High Elves versus Dark Elf action, which would be pretty good fun. What's up, Croissant? How's it going, man? It is indeed the War of the Baguettes. I believe ODM are a French clan. Well, that's at least where they're based from. Hello, Warden. Ronan, how's it going, guys? Hope you guys are excited. I'm super excited. This is going to be some really good elite play. There was a small chance at one point that Loopy wasn't going to make it, and I was going to have to hop in, and you guys would have seen me get well and truly destroyed, so it's nice to see a couple of high-skill players scrapping it out. Hope the stream is looking all good. In fact, what I'm going to do... I was in a bit of a rush because I was working today, so I've just kind of come back and sorted this all out, but I am going to get a scoreboard up. And let's edit that as well. So we have Pacta versus the mighty Loopy. That time, unfortunately, we'll just have to count down. Otherwise, it stays there. And this is Death Before Dishonour. So this is something new we're trying. It is a clan war, so of course this was only open to ODM clan mates. And if any other clans want to hop in and try out this form, I'm more than happy as well to let them do that. But just a bit of excitement to see how it goes. We are using the standard Warhammer Cup rules, the same as all my Death Before Dishonour tournaments, just with a little bit of a twist on it, that it is in fact a civil war. Which was an idea actually me and Pacta came up with, because he was meant to be in the last Death Before Dishonour, but unfortunately couldn't make it. Cool, looks like Pacta is ready, so we're going to be getting in pretty quickly here. Yo, Devon, how's it going, dude? Hope you're doing all good. I believe, Croissant, you have some links with ODM, don't you? Was it Zyphos who taught... there's a really cool tournament idea, wasn't there, where you got like a master and then some students, and they taught you down and helped you compete in a tournament. I believe you were linked with Zyphos, but I may be wrong. I just seem to remember that happening at some point. Hope you guys are doing all good though. So if you are new to your channel and this is your first time here, I do multiplayer battles, tournaments like this, King of the Hill live streams, campaigns, all that good stuff, all based around Total War Warhammer. I am branching out to other games and stuff as well, but if that's the type of stuff you enjoy, please do consider subscribing, you know, sticking around and all that good stuff. And if you do enjoy the bloodshed our competitors are spilling for you, do smack that big old thumbs up button. As it super helps out, as you know, I'm a growing channel and all that standard good stuff. But I am super excited. So Pacta, I know, is an incredibly good Wood Elf player. I don't think I've played Loopy. I may have played him once on ladder at some point. Cool, looks like they're good to go. We'll get started straight away. So luckily, there's no need for a screen blocker, one, because I'm on spectator mode, so their armies won't pop up, but at the same time, these guys all know each other as well, so I'm sure we don't have any of that to worry about. If you guys do want to get involved in future tournaments or have your battles shown on my channel, hit me up on Discord. My name on there is Rubber Duck of War. I'm on all the big Discords, all that good, lovely stuff. He may be Australian. I feel like the clan was based in France, but again, I could be completely wrong with that as well. Coach Zyphos mentored me in the ever-chosen noob format. That's the one. That's participate as well, and I have an awesome French nickname. Of course, of course. I thought that was your real name. Looks like Loopy is in fact both Australian and French. So it'd be good to get a couple of those guys in the chat as well. Just, they'll be able to explain their armies and stuff to you. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm also happy to answer questions where I can. So let's have a little look at Pacta's army to start with, playing the very cool colour scheme here. And he is, in fact, the High Elves. So we have some spearmen in the front line, cheap and cheerful chaff, just there to hold back the enemy while the rest of his army does the damage. And it looks like he's gone for a little bit of an air force, which is pretty damn exciting. So for the main core of his army, we do have tuners of archers. We're doing a decent amount of damage hidden behind those spearmen. And then a very, very mobile force here. We have Dragon Princes looking very awesome, actually, in their green colour scheme. I haven't seen them too often. We have some Illyrian Reaver archers, 2 units in fact. We have a Star Dragon up in the skies. Looks like 2 units of the Dragon Prince is actually very nice. Up in the skies, we have a Star Dragon who's going to be assisting Alariel the Radiant. And let's have a little look at what spells she's brought. So she's, of course, on top of her Mighty Pigeon up here. She's brought Star of Avalon, which is a must if you bring her. It's one of the main reasons you do bring her. Arcane Conduit, Earthblood, and Fast Protection. Pretty damn interesting build. Quite small and fast and compact, but I like it. I really like this build quite a lot. What's hiding over in the trees? Looks like he's just rearranging his Dragon Princes. If we look at the evil Dark Elf forces of Loopy here, front line, he has also gone for some spearmen, but he has chevroned them up, so they will probably be able to do fairly decent against the High Elf spearmen, but it's still going to be a bit of a damp noodle contest. We also have the Ravengers of Rakarth, the regiment-renowned Scourge Runner Chariots, and a second unit as well. These guys, of course, quite hotly debated in the community at the moment, as the kind of general consensus is that they're quite overpowered. Interesting to see how they play out and what happens to them in the next patch. In the back lines, we do have 1 unit of Slash's Harvesters, regiment-renowned Doomfire Warlocks, and 1 regiment of Cold One Knights, which is going to be pretty useful, but will it be enough to deal with all those mobile threats? We also have a basic unit of Witch Elves and also the Chill of Sontar, the most awesome looking of all the Hydras here. Going to be doing a really decent job holding that middle ground. We have a Sorceress of Death as well. Ooh, looks like not bringing the standard spells. And also Crone Hellebron. I haven't seen her in action at all recently, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how he plays her. And the battle does get underway as both forces do start to move forward. A bit of early skirmishing is going to be coming from these chariots, trying to get some early damage onto that Star Dragon, and that's the perfect target for them, really, as long as they can make their hits. Of course, the Dragon can just fall back behind this kind of advancing spear wall and push those guys out the way. So Illyrian Reaver's going to be scouting down the left-hand flank here, trying to get in behind, probably do some nice early damage to the Chill of Sontar. And the archers are now exchanging fire with the Scourge Runner Chariots. But really nice play here by Loopy, just moving them away up and over here, out of the way of that arch fire. No need to take any unnecessary damage. Early fire coming in now from the archers. Looks like they're trying to pick on the Witch Elves. Really nice pick as they are lightly armed. And that is forcing the Dark Elves forward. They want to get this engagement underway as quick as possible. Again, bringing his forces just away from these Illyrian Reavers and pushing them out with some spearmen. Looks like they get a little bit tangled. They are going to fall back. No, good play from both players at the moment, keeping their main assets fairly out of harm's way from damage. Looks like we've got Silver Helms as well, which I missed earlier, darting out of the trees, going to be moving up this left flank. I'm probably trying to hammer in on some Dread Spears, some early damage. In the background, we do have a Scourge Runner Chariot force its way into the back on top of these archers, but gets countered quite heavily here by the Star Dragon and Alariel, popping on top of those Scourge Runners and doing a decent amount of damage. If these guys get pinned in, that could be really bad news for them indeed. Earthblood does go down to heal up the Dragon and those archers, and these Illyrian Reavers are just darting down this left flank, going to get in behind and do some really nice rear harass attacks, whereas Silver Helms are helping crush the front line. Well, unfortunately, a little bit of lag, but that should start to sort itself out as the battle does go on. Star Dragon getting in there, doing huge damage to those chariots. Spearmen come over to assist as well, but unfortunately for the Mighty Dragon, Cold One Spear Riders are also flooding in here to help try and pin him in and do some damage. Ooh, looks like they're just having fun making sure there's no questions. Hopefully the lag does subside. I've been having lots of problems with Total War recently. My internet connection is fine. I'm plugged directly into the LAN, but Total War in general seems to be having a lot of internet problems. So hopefully that will sort itself out. But really nice open exchange by both players. Balance of power is slightly in favour of the Dark Elves here, so hopefully it looks like it's coming back to life. Oh, come on. I believe in you, game. We do have a Fire's Protection and Word of Pain going down on top of this Star Dragon and this very nasty blob here. The Star Dragon may have committed itself a little bit. We have Dragon Princes flying into this massive blob engagement. We also have Star of Avalon popping down on the Dragon, trying to keep it alive as all this cav comes rampaging in here, trying to do some nice shock damage, but they don't want to get tagged down in a big brawl. That is the one thing the High Elves really don't need at the moment, because the rest of the battle is going fairly well for them here. More Dragon Princes come smashing from the other flanks. You get a bit of 2-for-1 either side. Dragon Princes are crashing in. It looks like the Dragon, though, is routed off with Word of Pain and Doom and Darkness casting it. Really nice use of Doom and Darkness. Haven't seen that spell used too much, in fact. So Crone Hellebron is going toe-to-toe with Alarielle. She's going to want to be getting out of there. Hopefully that Dragon will rally. It's got a lot of health and maybe able to come in and do some huge breath attacks, as he's really going to be needed to help deal with this large moving blob of the Dark Elves. Crone Hellebron just popping into the back here, trying to shut down these archers, which isn't a bad play at all. And now the back line of the High Elves is broken. We have a breath attack coming in. Unfortunately, it looked like it was a bit of a swing and a miss. It was aiming for the Scourge Runner chariots, who have taken an absolute beating. But in return, the High Elves put so much resources into that side of the battlefield. They didn't win that engagement. Everywhere else we have some Dread Spears who need to get active. Apart from that, Wet Noodle contest in the front, which these Dread Spears will slowly win. And we have some really nice play of Illyrian Reavers hunting down routing units, trying to finish them off and stop them coming back from the main battle. Scourge Runner Chariots are just on an absolute warpath hunting down this Star Dragon. It's being kept alive here by an overcast Earthblood, which is doing pretty good. And we do have rallying Dragon Princes on both sides going to come crashing in, but there's so many Spearmen. There's also the Cold One Knights and so forth who do the anti-large damage. And the Chill of Sontar is going to be a really hard beast to take down. That Dragon gets caught once more and is getting pushed off. I don't think this time he's going to rally. He is down. Well, he's still got 1,000 health actually. He might come back, but he's taken quite a beating, and that has pushed the balance of power heavily in favour of the Dark Elves and Loopy. So the Dragon Princes, without their mighty dragons that they used to ride on their meagre horses here, are slowly getting dragged down by the sheer weight of numbers of this Dark Elf force here. It looks like Illyrian Reavers have had to go for a desperate charge into the rear of the Dark Elves. Doing some decent damage though, pinning in those Scourge Runner chariots, but there's just not enough High Elves left on the field. Another breath attack is going to be coming in, trying to take down those chariots. Looks like it makes fairly decent contact there, but they're still up and running. Alarielle getting some more healing going on as well. So the battle isn't quite over yet, but it is looking like a victory for the Dark Elves so far. So these Dread Spears, looks like they're pushing around and either going to collapse in on top of these Spearmen or get into the main engagement, as High Elves just flee in every direction here. Really nice chariot play. Looks like the Cold One Knights, are starting to rampage, but they're eating on archers, you know, it's all good for them. And a breath attack added in for good measure. The only real power the High Elves have left is in this core of the Star Dragon and Alarielle, but I don't think that's going to be anywhere near enough to deal with this mass amount of Dark Elves. We do have some rallying Spearmen and Illyrian Reavers. It looks like most of the Dragon Princes are getting chased and pushed off, which is a bit of a disaster, as there are a lot of that shock, hard-hitting cav the High Elves can bring to bear here. So come on, heal up, Star Dragon. Yeah, we're a bit more lag again, but hopefully it will subside. It seems to be coming in waves, but no, it's not been too bad, luckily, which is all good. So Illyrian Reavers getting some decent damage in the rear of the Chill of Sontar, but it's just not going to be enough. There's not enough punch left in this High Elf force. Looks like Alarielle is going to go for a desperate charge, bringing the Star Dragon with her. Probably going to try and hop on and assassinate some key targets. Maybe a good shout here would be to come over and assassinate Clone Hellebron, as she is pretty drawn out from the rest of his army. So if you can get the Dragon over here, and Alarielle might be able to snipe her out really quickly and pin her in with these units, and then try and tear out what is left with the Star Dragon. But of course, you still have that Chill of Sontar. But the Squadrons are running almost completely out of ammunition now, and they are one of the main targets they have for bringing that guy down. A load of units come crashing in here. Alarielle, which looks like she's going to be able to take Crone Hellebron in the ultimate sass-off of the Witches and drag her down. She's down to 790 health, so close to breaking here, but she's holding the line strong, waiting for her reinforcements. She knows they're on the way, and they may in fact manage to get her in time. She's doing pretty decent, 790 health now. Alariel obviously still rocking a mighty 2,600, but not managing to get those attacks in. And now the beast has arisen and arrived, and that will crush Alariel very quickly. Star Dragon popping in, trying to help finish off Clone Hellebrond. It looks like none of the hits are actually landing on her. She's managing to do a very good job of ducking and weaving and staying alive where possible, and the rest of the Hiles are now starting to break. So really nice last-ditch attempt there, popping over here and trying to assassinate the Dark Elf leadership, and unfortunately it's backfired slightly. Star Dragon once again pushed off, even though it has fast protection. Hellebrond is going down though, 112 health here. She may be finished off by Alariel, but there is a very, very healthy Chill of Sontar left alive, which is currently feasting on the rear of this Star Dragon, which is currently shattered now and gone, and that is going to be game 1 to the mighty Loopy. So GG's all around. And let's update the scoreboard. But first of all, we'll do a little breakdown on the armies. So overall, 2 super fun armies. I really like Pacta's kind of fast-moving mobile force, but it just didn't quite have enough punch to really push through. Loopy's army, that Star Dragon just couldn't get its teeth really sunk in anywhere, couldn't find a home, because really nice play by the Scourge Runner Chariot. So I think are a pretty big must pick at the moment for the Dark Elves, just doing that constant damage to it over the course of the battle, just slowly wearing it down and helping wear down those big threats to the Dragon Princess as well. Really nice to see Crone Hellebrond in action as well, don't get to see her too often. The lag did make it easy. Yeah, apologies for that. I don't think it's me, I'm hoping not. I am plugged directly into the LAN, but it may be. The map is going to be El Anguil. So I'm probably saying horribly wrong, but you know. Let's have a quick little look at chat. See what I have missed. Yeah, Scorch Runners are so good running. You are 100% right. They're really deadly. I'm pretty convinced they're going to get nerfed at some point. ODM was French, now they take anyone. That's nice to know. Except girls. Hey! Hey. But really nice play. Yeah, it was a bit unlucky on trying to snipe out Crone. She just survived for so long. Like, she got down so low health, and Alariel and the Dragon just could not finish her off. At the very end, they did make her flee, but by that point, the Dark Elf forces had managed to rally. So it looks like Loopy is going Wood Elves. Interesting. I know Pacta is a very keen Wood Elf player as well, and he is banning Skaven. So I'm going to quickly make sure there's no questions on the Discord. No, looks like we're all good. So let us put that one up on Loopy. And get back into the action. This map is one of my favourites as far as tournament maps goes. There's some trees, there's some open land, and there's a lot of different tactics you can do. We'll do a super quick analysis of it when we hop in. Who would I go against Wood Elves? So he's banned Skaven. I quite like Beastmen against Wood Elves. You can hunt them down quite quickly. You've got a lot of fast-moving Centaurs and so forth, and a lot of cheap chaff just to take shots. But I think everyone has answers. Obviously, there's Bretonia, but there is some really nice builds going around at the moment with Wood Elves of pretty much all flying builds to counter Bretonia, and you get lots of Glade Riders to snipe out the Peasant Bowmen and then slowly pick away the more elite Knights, which can work really well. But who is your money on? Are you rooting for anyone in particular? I know these guys all work for the same clan, or all part of the same clan. So if you're an ODM fan, this would be pretty damn cool. Or pretty sad if you see, you know, your favourite players fighting against each other. But I'm hoping for a Pacta comeback here. I'm hoping for him to make it to 1-1 so we can get a nice 3 games out of this first heat. Oh, he's going Empire. Nice. Empire have quite a lot of decent tools here. Nice cheap cav. Empire Knights are pretty useful. Got to be a bit careful of Wild Riders because obviously they can punch you pretty damn hard on the charge, but you can tie them up quite nicely and allow your long range to actually tear them down. It should be very good to see. Pacta saying he's mediocre with Empire. I do not believe that for a second. Not for 1 second, I believe that. But welcome, guys. We've got quite a few people watching. Hope you are enjoying. Now, there's something very special about my YouTube channel, which most other YouTube channels don't have. So I'm going to brag about it a little bit right now. So if you hit that thumbs up button underneath the video, a puppy is born into the world, or a kitten. It actually goes both ways now. We've expanded out. So a puppy or kitten is born into the world, and the world in general is just a better place and more awesome. But if you don't press that thumbs up button, a kitten or a puppy dies. And that's a really sad thing. So I'm not saying you have to hit the button. It's up to you completely. But, you know, just pin that out there. That if you're a puppy or kitten fan, you might want to consider it. Looks like he might be going Dark Elves. He's kind of sizing up between Dark Elves and Empire. Let's have a little bit of a drink, as I do have a tiny bit of a sore throat, but nothing too bad. Shouldn't stop us too much. Let him know if he wants to switch Dark Elves. I'm happy for him to do that. I don't mind casting Elves on Elves. It's always some good violence. My favourite elves, I think... I'm probably best with High Elves out of the 3 elves. My favourites are the Wood Elves, as... but I don't think the viewers are culturally educated enough for Elf on Elf. Well, Pact are not making any friends with the the viewers, so Loopy all the way, yeah? Team Loopy. Looks like he is sticking into Empire. I finally found a reason to push that button. Hey! Hey, Palpatine. Great to see you, man. And, I don't know how to say your name, bro. Erasmus Guy? What's up, dude? I don't know if I've seen you around before. Nice to always see some new people. If you are new to the channel, we do lots of multiplayer tournaments, King of the Hills, all that type of stuff. Feel free to just chill out, hang out and watch. If you ever want to get involved, just let me know on Discord, hit me up, and I can get you involved. Sweet, it looks like Pacta is ready. Going into this one confidently. This matchup, I don't know if it favours anyone in particular. I quite like bringing Wood Elves into the Empire matchup, or I used to a couple of months ago when I was playing quite a lot of quick battles. And bringing like a Orion Wild Rider rush to really just push through and get on top of those gunners. Which just works really well. They can't counter the Wild Riders too easily. As I said before, they have knights to tie you up. But you will win those engagements, especially if you pop Orion's Horn just before charge. And you do insane amount of charge bonus. So let's have a little look. Cool, looks like Loopy is ready. So we're going to start the battle. Cool, and we'll get this cracking. I'm super excited. I don't know what to predict here. I really don't. I have seen Loopy play quite a bit, but I think on other people's channels, not on mine. So I'm not really certain of what his style of play is, but of course we have had Pact on the channel before. He's been entering it in the King of the Hill and whatnot. I know he quite likes a fast-moving force. Big fan of the Wood Elves, and as we saw with his High Elf army before, it was very quick indeed. So we are straight loaded in here. This is super good. They must have some very good computers as well, which is nice to see. And we're going to break down the Empire army to start with. Actually, it looks like he's moving all his troops around quite a lot. So we'll start breaking down the Wood Elf army to start with. And this looks pretty damn deadly. So for a front line, he's gone for 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Dryads. They will tear apart state troops very, very comfortably. It looks like he's going for a mass Vanguard as well, which is going to be super cool. He's going for a very fast mobile force. And then we also have, of course, 2 units of Wild Riders, both of which are shielded. One of my favourite units thematically, just because they look so badass. Very nice and very fast shock cav. We have a couple of units of Glade Riders with Hagbane tips. Now, I didn't see these guys in multiplayer for absolutely ages, but recently they seem to have been doing a little bit of a comeback, and have been picked quite often. So just fast-moving skirmish cav, nice to see. Up in the sky with some Hawk Riders, a unit most people consider underpowered, so it'll be interesting to see how they play. Probably pretty decent at picking off knights now and again and getting those armor-piercing rear charges. We have a Spellsinger of Beasts here with just the transformation of Kadon, getting that Manticore summon, which is very nice. And who do we have for a Lord? Where are you? He's all the way over here. This is a huge Vanguard build here. We do, in fact, have the mighty Orion here. Please say he has brought his Horn. He has indeed. So this is just what I was talking about. Horn of the Wild Hunt, giving that 54% charge bonus, which is so good. Cloak of Issues, of course, a must-have item. Let's quickly go through this Empire build before they get underway. So Pacta trying to do the comeback. Does have a couple of units of Reichsguard, one on either flank. Looks like in Deep Reserve, he's also gone for some Empire Knights. Has he gone for those on both sides? Yes, looking for any sneaky skirmishes in from behind. Obviously expecting some Wood Elf trickery. For frontline, we do have Swordsman mixed in with Spearmen, so just cheap and cheerful, there to hold the line and soak up missile pressure. We also have 2 units of Huntsmen who are anti-large, pretty damn good. They won't trade very effectively against normal Glade Guard and stuff, but against Glade Riders and also taking down the Hawk Riders and stuff, these guys are going to be pretty damn useful. We have a Jade Wizard bringing Earthblood, and is that Awakening Wood? Yes, and Awakening Wood. We also have the Black Lions, by far my favourite of the War Wagon. So Regiment Renowned Hellblaster 1, fast moving artillery piece. And we also have Marcus Wolfhart here, just chilling out on foot, of course, is the only way he can be brought. And he has brought the Armor Bow, Focus Shot, and the Hunter's Snare, which could be pretty damn useful. This is going to be a very fast and bloody affair, one way or the other, I believe. So it looks like Pacta is ready. I'm just waiting on Ludi. Oh, looks like they are underway. So there's initially going to be an engagement over on this flank as all the Dryads plus a unit of Wild Riders are going to flood out and simply overwhelm these Empire Knights. I'm assuming Pacta is going to try and bring them back and save them as much as possible. And his one on the other flank is now adjusting as well, realising there's no threat over there. Looks like he's sending out some Reichsguards to help help and assist these Empire Knights against the Dryads. They're going to get some nice early shock damage, but they want to get out of there. There's just simply too many troops here, which will do a decent amount of damage. Some early shots going into Hawk Riders, just dropping them out of the sky. Looks like the Hunters... Oh no, that must have been the Black Lion, in fact, is firing, doing some pretty decent early damage here. Looks like Reichsguard are fleeing and Empire Knights pulling back after that initial engagement, seeing there are some Wild Riders. They don't want to get stuck down with them and beat on by the Dryads. Orion is moving through the trees. Pacta's probably just trying to figure out where on earth all this Wood Elf army is. We do have a small blast coming as well, doing some decent damage to these Empire Knights, which is slowly getting dragged and chased down by Wild Riders. Looks like Reichsguard are falling back as well, and the Empire army is starting to have to realign slightly. What is the Black Lions firing at? Looks like nothing at the moment. They should really be turning and doing some damage to the Spellslinger or firing over at these Wild Riders, who are now running into Braced Spearmen. Oh, real nice micro there, just about manages to catch it in time and pull them back. So on the other flank, we do have some fleeing Empire Knights who did just slowly get dragged down. Marcus Wolfhart getting very danger close to the enemy. I'll be pulling him back if I was the Empire right now and trying to protect this back line. So a really nice Hunter Snare comes down on these Wild Riders. They're then getting charged by some Reichsguard in here. It looks like they're getting a Melkoff Mystifying Miasma popped on them, however. So they're going to struggle to escape afterwards. We have Swordsman plunging in as well, but Ryan is leading a massive charge of Wild Riders to come assist his bros. Put up on here and getting some really nice shots into those Reichsguard who are slowly getting dragged down. Now for the back line, we do have a summoned Manticore who's going to be hunting down the Black Lions. Really nice play, because even if you don't kill them, you stop them shooting and force them, to just run away, and they can't target down these real key targets like the Wild Riders, who are slowly going to be able to munch their way through the rest of these forces if they're unaided. So it looks like Empire Knights, though, have managed to get a full surround on that Manticore. And we also have some Spearmen who've surrounded a Spellslinger, which is a really nice play, getting that anti-large in there. Hopefully going to be able to drag her down. Some Swordsmen need to get active and either shield off these Glade Riders and push them away, or get into the main action. As for the main action, it looks like the Reichsguard, with assistance from Swordsmen, have managed to drag down the Wild Riders. Horn of the World is popped, though, so every single charge here is going to be doing a huge amount of damage. The Empire are starting to buckle on all sides. We have a fight in the woods, which these Reichsguard and Empire Knights really do not want to face. Wild Riders, of course, actually get a bonus in the woods through Forest Stalker, so they're going to be tearing down these Reichsguard who can't navigate these tightly packed trees, whereas the Wood Elves, of course, given their name, are designed to fight in such quarters. Balance of power is starting to go in favour of the Wood Elves, but not too much. The battle is certainly not over yet. These Huntsmen can do some really decent job against the lightly armoured Wild Riders, but he needs to be able to protect them, and there's just so much pressure coming on everywhere from the Wood Elves, and it's looking a little bit bleak so far for the High Elves, but as all good champions, Pacta is fighting to the death there, getting some nice shots coming over, and almost finishing off these Wild Riders, who are down to 10 models now. Swordsmen also managing to push them away. Now, Dryads will tear through basic Spearmen and Swordsmen quite quickly, but the Sigma Suns will be able to hold for a decent amount of time. We do have a Hunter's Snare coming down, putting in the Spellslinger. Really nice play here. The Spearmen should now be able to drag the Spellslinger down, and it did stop Orion from catching Wolfhart as well, who's trying to flee now a little bit and get some protection from his fellow Hunters. Nice play as well. Black Lions getting some really nice shots into the rear of the Spellslinger, who is down to a meager 470 health. probably will rally, but he's fairly close to the edge and he's pretty fast, so you never know. Big bombardment coming down from Big Papa Orion as well now. Going to be doing some decent damage onto the spearmen. So let's take into account the rest of the battlefield. So Rice Guard are fleeing. We have swordsmen fleeing. Over in the trees, we have some wild riders fleeing. So nothing too impactful that can remain on the battlefield. So what we see is pretty much what we get now. The Empire have managed to form a fairly decent pocket of strength here, holding off the enemy with spearmen on all sides and having a little power base here of the Black Lions, Hunters, and Marcus Wolfheart. But, of course, Loopy manages to spot this, whips around the Wild Riders and pops on top of the Black Lions. And just as I say this, the spearmen do break and Orion bomb rushes into Marcus and he will tear him apart in a matter of seconds if he can get his mitts on him. The Empire main force is slowly getting ground down, and I think this is going to be a victory for the mighty Wood Elves. So the Elves always reign supreme, it seems, so far. We get some decent shots, though, doing damage to Wild Riders by Marcus Wolfheart, up to 12 kills, but he has been targeting fairly elite troops. We also have an Earthblood keeping these swordsmen and hunters just a little bit active as the Dryads do come charging in. And these are horrible tree spirits, going to tear them apart. You'd think tree spirits, they sound quite nice, but they're incredibly spiteful and vicious combatants. Looks like some Hawk Riders did get separated from their pack as they're fleeing over here. And somehow two stragglers came back here. But Marcus is now just being chased to death by Orion. The Black Lion's being chased down by Wild Riders, which is such a good unit. Really a big plays by them, and just super good for the Wood Elves in general. We do have a Jade Wizard trying to hold them back, but he's not going to be able to do too much. Marcus Wolfheart going for those 360 no-scopes as he does sprint away with a Hunter Snare, keeping himself alive and active. And he's done a decent amount of damage to Orion. Looks like he's trying to get some shots in. What's he targeting now? Oh, looks like he went for an absolute beam on the spell slinger, and it was unfortunately a huge swing and a miss. Sometimes being close to the enemy can actually really determine like your accuracy, and if it's a strange angle it can just throw it off balance completely. But really well played there by Loopy and the Wood Elves, and he does take round 1 in a 2-0 series, so asserting his dominance. So Zyphos and Mudkip, I hope you're watching and you are shaking in your boots right now. And there's a real dominant display there. Very cheeky Vanguard pack to say in there as well. Cheeky is the way forward. So Zyphos and Mudkip, if you are in fact in chat, please do swing over to multiplayer. I've opened a lobby. It's called Death Before Dishonour, with the password being 123. So when these guys hop out, if you just want to hop in, and we'll get that going, which would be pretty damn cool. And if the only guys aren't in the lobby, or for whatever reason, I know Zyphos has been in the chat a little bit, I can always send the messages on Discord as well. That's the problem with Loopy. He is both an infamous kiter and a trickster. Disciple of Loic, the trickster god. Oh, Loic the trickster god. There's such a cool Wood Elf story with him. There's like a special war dancer character who hears the trickster god in his head. And he says he's talking to him and like telling him what to do. It's really awesome. Sweet man, see you in the finals. Cool. So we're just going to kick out Loopy there and wait for the others to arrive. So Mudkip has joined in. Welcome, welcome. And we are going to be on River Amaxon. Oh, I didn't seem to send for some reason. Yeah, chat seems to be bugging and not sending my messages. Hopefully that will sort itself out. CA renaming this game Total War bug having next match. Honestly, bro, it can be really frustrating, especially the multiplayer at the moment. It's really frustrating. It's been doing a lot of lag and stuff, but I know my internet's good, if that makes sense, because I'm literally plugged in directly to the LAN cable. On an Eagle, the spell slinger doesn't count on any caps except hero. Well, war wagons are not fast moving, but you know, they're moving fast for artillery pieces. But I get your point, Papa Palpatine, I get you. Yo, Ben the Barman, what's up, my G? Hope you're doing all good. Yo, Loopy, very well played, dude. Right, let's see, where's... Guys on vanilla version, maybe the beta is gone. Yeah, it's just on vanilla. Cool. Just let them know that I can always add them on Steam if they're having trouble finding the lobby. And we're going to call them to get in. If not, I'll send them invites on Discord and we'll sort it out. Yeah, it's a bug hammer, unfortunately. It's kind of be really frustrating, but you know, so good. What's up, Wicked D? Nice to see you, my dude. Hope you're doing all good. And thank you for tuning in. Cool. So hopefully they can see the lobby. Looks like Mudkip was dropped, but his game might have closed and reopened. Hey, we have Zyphos. Representing the Wood Elves as we can see, but we'll wait for Mudkip to pop back in. I tried to join and it was stuck loading. I can rehost. Try rejoining Mudkip. If you can't, I'll rehost. Cool, we'll see if we can get him in. If not, we'll simply do a rehost, which is all good. Yeah, there's been tons of bugs recently, which is really sad. It's a really good game. But, you know, CI are pretty damn good, actually, at trying to fix these things and continuously coming back and working on it. And that really helps the longevity of the game, which is super nice. Which is super cool. And if you want to see my hopes for Total Warhammer 3, I do in fact have a video up on that at the moment. Which I do talk about multiplayer and what changes I want them to implement. I think they could do a lot of work bringing in a challenge system. As in what challenge does, the website. I think we don't really need that as a third party. I do like that system and I think it does work well. But at the same time, you could simply have one of those built into the game. So it's easier to host tournaments and do tournaments even if you aren't part of a bit larger community. You could just enter a tournament and whatnot. So it'd be good to see. So I think Zyphos is in. It looks like he's loaded in as well. Just double check Discord and make sure there are no problems. Cool. Looks like we're all good. Let's see what's happening. Ben Barman, what drink of the night? Oh, you're drinking, Ben. Nice, my dude. Oh, you're drinking water. Oh, that's sad. You need a good Bugman's Ale to fully enjoy this battle. Cool. Let them know they can do pick and ban or gents agreement. It's really up to them. I'm pretty chilled about it, to be honest. If people want to do a certain matchup, I'm fine with it. And if people... A lot of people tend to do pick and ban in this situation because it is still quite competitive. You know, they are still fighting for the honour of, well, I guess the ODM clan. So let's quickly change the scoreboard. We do have the Mighty Mudkip. And the very mighty Zyphos. Cool. We're back onto the not. Cool, looks like they're sorting out between themselves, which is all good to see. And that is one of the main things with this type of situation with host tournaments. If people get on and they don't, you know, try and cheat, break rules and that stuff, they always get invited back. Of course, these guys know each other, so that's not going to be a problem anyway. But just for future reference, if you do take part in these tournaments, remember the main thing, the reason it's called Death Before Dishonour is that, you know, it's a game, it's all there for fun. I know people are competitive and want to win, but just don't dishonour yourself and you'll always get invited back. Oh, Whiskey Wednesday, I wish. Mate, Whiskey Wednesday sounds like an absolute boss idea. I'll pick Amazones because this is my river. Okay. Maybe they would. Do you reckon they'll ever add the Amazonians in as like a little DLC faction or something? I guess Wood Elves are kind of like Amazonians in a kind of way. They live in trees, but obviously they live in the forest, not in jungles. They are from Athelloren, which is pretty cool place. If you're a wood elf, if you're anything else, it's an absolute horrible place to visit. Probably gets terrible reviews. But I'm really hoping they get some new legendary lords soon. I want to see the Sisters of Twilights coming in, riding on their dragon. You can have an eagle for them as well. There's so many easy magic missile options to add in for their weaponry. I believe one of them used to be able to make roots, shoot an arrow to the ground, and roots would come out around it and trap enemies. So you just have that as like a snare ability, or like a net ability basically. And the other one I think fired like a dark shot, which was like more of the damage one, and you just have that as a magic missile. So I think it'd be pretty easy to implement, and it would be pretty damn cool. So Zyphos Wood Elves banning Tomb Kings and High Elves. I really like the High Elf ban. Tomb Kings, yeah, I can see that actually being a pretty tough matchup for Wood Elves now and again. But Mudkip is going to Skaven. Awesome, awesome. Who is your money on? Do you have a favourite? Do you have a champion? I'm sure Croissant wants Zyphos to push through as he is his sensei. Yeah, it was a quote from Dishonored, a very memed one. Nice, nice. Yeah, see quite a few people watching. Welcome, welcome. I hope you are enjoying so far. We are in our second semi-final of the night. So in round 1, we had the Mighty Pactor go up against Loopy in a 2-0 affair, where Loopy managed to scrape through and beat Pactor down. Both players played very well, and now we have Zyphos up against Mudkip in the second semi-final, and they will go into best of 3 finals. So if you are enjoying, please do remember to smash that thumbs up. I feel really bad constantly having to mention it, but it's one of those things. It's like a small channel, like, subscribes, all that type of stuff. It like helps so much with other people viewing, and then these things try to snowball, well, tend to snowball. So if you can do that, help me out, but no pressure if not. Just chill out and enjoy, which is the main thing. We're here to watch some skulls get cracked. I did mention at the start of the stream, but anyone who has joined late, I have in fact played Mudkip before in a tournament situation, and I'm proud to say I got absolutely destroyed 2-0. It was my first ever tournament, popped in, he was my opponent, and I was like, well, it's gone badly. And it had in fact gone badly. I've improved a lot since then, but he is still far and away a much better player than me. I think all the players, to be honest, in this tournament are incredibly skilled, and I would struggle against. Zyphos, of course, very well known for playing in ECL, I believe played in the Everchosen as well. Lots of very big tournament player, and just super nice guy as well, which is super helpful. Sensei, Dark Lord, he has many names. Depends if you win or lose, does it? It's also called Daddy. Ooh, wait. I got a 30-year-old... You got a 30-year-old bottle? Ooh, this... If there's a perfect time to have a little sip on that, Ben the Barman, it is surely today. Surely today. Cool, looks like these guys are just starting the matchup. So there's no time limits or any of that type of stuff. I'm pretty chilled out, to be honest. The general stream will probably be about 2 hours long, roughly. Or 1 hour and 50. Somewhere around there it tends to be for the Death for Dishonours. Looks like Mudkip is ready. He did quickly ready up there, so just waiting on the mighty Zyphos, who's ready up himself. So let's get this cracking. Zyphos, I think, mains Wood Elves, I want to say. I've seen him play Wood Elves quite a lot before, so it'll be interesting to see what build he brings. Oh, should be good. Trying to get Glen for glass. 500 to 800 euros a pop. Damn. I wish I had that type of dollar bills to spend on this. So River Maxon, super cool map. We have a nice little bit of high ground here where you can do a lot of cav flank maneuvers. Some people also like putting artillery on top and then just shooting down, which can be quite effective. But at the same time, there's a lot of trees around the periphery of the battlefield as well for sneaky deployments, and 2 large sections here in the middle, just on the left-hand side of this deployment, which is really nice because if you bring, you know, big dinosaurs, big monsters, and well, single entities in general, or very expensive units and your opponent has gone very range, you can sneak up through this side of the map, make use of your terrain and push through onto the enemy with taking as minimal damage as possible. which can work, you know, really well in general. But yeah, one of my favourite maps, mainly because it is a fairly balanced map that can be used in tournaments, and it's a Lizardman map, which is pretty rare. I feel like Battle of Itza can also be used, but most of the other maps are unfortunately not very balanced at all. They're very cool thematically, but that doesn't work in a tournament setting, unfortunately. So who is your money on? I really can't tell at this point. When we see the armies, I'll have a little better gauge, but still, sometimes I see an army and I don't quite catch the synergy and how it's going to work, and then as soon as it gets playing, you see the devastation that it can bring to the battlefield. But what else would be my favourite elves? Got to root a little bit for them, but at the same time, I really would like this game to go all the way to a free match series. That'd be the best way to do it, I think. And best for you guys, hopefully. It's when you try to get whiskey from my birth. Okay. Well, that's expensive. 30 years is a long time. That is damn true. I think the trick is to buy it when you're a kid is born and used as a gift. That's a really good shout. Well, the real question is, where is the river? That is... Is it there? Aha. Is that... No. That looks like a dried up river rather than an actual river. But let's get underway anyway and have a look at these armies. So we have another very fast-paced Wood Elf army being led by Zophos here. So for his main bulk of infantry, we do have 3 units of Dryads. We saw before these guys can be quite devastating, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranged units, 2 of which are Waywatchers, and the other 3 are Deepwood Scouts. Are they all basic scouts? Yep, looks like they're all the basic ones. So a really nice... skirmish build there. That's going to do some decent damage on the Skaven. In general, Waywatchers targeting out the bigger threats, and the Scouts targeting out kind of the chaff and getting rid of them. We also have a Waystalker, someone I pretty much never see. I love the idea of a Waystalker, but we never actually really see it. And of course, he has brought his Magic Missile, Arrow of Kurnos, really good for sniping at artillery pieces, so I do wonder if he's brought that to try and deal with Warp Lightning Cannons and the like. We have a Glade Lord up in the skies. Looks like it is, in fact, the Glade Lady with her net and also the Arrows of Kurnos herself and all that good stuff. And can we just take a moment to appreciate how awesome the Forest Dragon is look-wise? No, we cannot because he's disappeared. There we go. Look how badass that is. Like a crown of kind of thorny stag horns on top of his head. We've also got a Spellslinger of Life coming with that Earth Blood and Regrowth. And we have 2 units of Wild Riders, ones with shield on this flank, and that might be it for the entire army. So very nice build there. Let's go check on this much more defensive Skaven build. In the front line, we do in fact have Clan Rats mix in with a couple of Skaven slaves right out front to take the initial brunt of the damage. We have Council Guard. I really like this pick here. Unbreakable Storm Vermin, the elite of the elite as far as Skaven go. Really nice backline protectors. He's got invested a lot of money into his ranged troops. We have some Teeth Breakers, Regiment-renowned Rattling Gunners. We have Warplock Jezzails, 2 units in fact. We don't have the Natty Bobo Sharpshooters, however. And then in the back we have Eshin Triads and Clan Rats with Spits. We have 2 units of Eshin Triads. Just the one. I really like Eshin Triads as a backline protector because they are invisible, enemies send in light cav, and you just saturate on top of them. You have those Weeping Blades, the anti-large, and you can just tear down light cav fairly effectively. We also have 1 unit of Rat Ogres, in fact 2 units of Rat Ogres protecting this back line. We have Poisoned Wind Mortars for extra range, and the Grey Seer of Ruin. Someone, again, I don't see too often. We're seeing some really cool units so far this stream. And he has brought Howling Warp Gale, the dreaded 13th spell. Nice to see that used, Unholy Glamour, and Scorch. The battle is about to get underway, and no, what has happened? It was running fine, and as soon as the battle starts, the lag kicks in. It must be me, because it can't be all of these guys connecting. I know they played quite a lot before with 0 lag, but I'm not sure what's going on. My internet connection is actually fine. It might be my connection to Total War. But looks like we've got some early shots coming in. Magic Missiles are targeting out those Warplock Jezzails, doing some okay damage, nothing too scary though. It's going to be interesting how the other Arrows of Kurnos are used. But some early shots coming in on top of the Glade Lord. Now, the Wood Elf Force completely deployed in the trees there. Really good idea. Might as well just try and out-skirmish your opponent and fall back into the trees where you fight better. Your Forest Spirits and Forest Strider and all that stuff. These guys have Forest Spirits here. Helps them fight in trees and whatnot. Plus, of course, they do have magic damage as well. But this early skirmish play is going to be really key. I quite like the pick of the Maw to try and deal with skirmishers, although I do prefer the Regiment Renowned when it has kind of a spread shot. Quite good at dealing with Waywatchers and Scouts and the like. Early shots look like it's just coming in at shielded Clan Rats at the moment, so not going to be doing too much damage. But the Teeth Breakers, again, absolutely annihilated here by both the units of the Waywatchers. The Dragon coming in to scare off some summoned Skaven slaves who tried pushing out. Actually, were they summoned? No, I think they were just some of the basic Skaven slaves, and those Teethbreakers are completely getting destroyed here. But in retaliation, the Deepwood Scouts have taken a lot of damage. One unit down to half health now already. And some early blows, some early back and forth here. Looks like those Skaven slaves rallied, being this close to a dragon. You'd think they'd be a little bit more scared. Looks like the Waywatchers trying to push forward once again. Probably going to try sniping out the Gracer or these Warplock Giselles and really finish them off. Here we come. Volley comes blazing in. Yeah, he's going for those Warplock Giselles, trying to get the range advantage and force the Skaven to him, where he can just drag them down in these trees, use some successful charge and gain mobility advantage. Waywatchers are taking quite a big hammering back, though, from those Giselles. One unit pretty beaten up, the other one fairly healthy, still with 20 model count. And obviously we have these Poison Wind Mortars as well. We're doing some decent damage, and the Waywatchers took an absolute hammer in there. So no punches being kind of pulled here by Mudkip as well. He's pushing back these this ranged core, as you can see, sacrificing Clan Rats in the front to push these guys away from his key threats. So really nice play so far. Looks like we do have the Glade Lord who has Warpstone Scrolls popped on him. Maybe trying to sneak around the back and threaten these guys in the rear here. Let's have some Skaven slaves hiding in the trees here. Rat Ogres do in fact get prey of enough armor, so netted down, they're going to have that -22 missile fire, and they're going to get absolutely annihilated by this heavy missile core here. And it's really good as well. You want to get rid of these Rat Ogres as they are quite fast, and they're one of his most mobile threats to deal with you. And they just got absolutely deleted there. Almost down 7 people, 1,000 health, and those guys are going to be running for the hills. They may rally, but they're so beat up now. Of course, Skaven don't have any healing either. Now the Gracer trying to push forward on top of the Waywatchers, but it's a pretty bad idea, as he's just going to get absolutely sniped out by this huge range core. Teeth Breakers are pushing up, trying to get towards that Glade Lord and at least pull some fire away from the Gracer. But it looks like we do have a summon of Storm Vermin in the back. Going to be pushing on top of these Deepwood Scouts here and hacking them down. These guys are going to have to run in as quick as possible. Really nice summon there, just trying to force back the opponent where he can. He still has some range utility with these Warplock Giselles. Can still do some decent damage, but the early skirmish is definitely going in favour of the Wood Elves. As I say that though, these Deepwood Scouts are getting pretty annihilated on this flank here. Do have the Waystalker just being a little bit of a pain here, darting around, trying to escape these Storm Vermin. So Spellslinger's been pushed up a little bit out of the trees here. And there's no protection over here from these Rat Ogres who have managed to catch these Deepwood Scouts. They need to push through and kill these Waywatchers as well. And this could force the Wood Elves out of the trees and have to deal with this threat here, as that Spellslinger does not want to be fighting this massive horde of rats and Rat Ogres. And it looks like Wild Riders are going to retaliate here by coming in with a nice shock damage charge here, flinging at Clan Rats left, right and centre. But the Rat Ogres won't do too bad against them. Yes, they take a lot of damage in return, but they also hit back relatively hard against these lightly armoured cav. But it looks like they're getting assistance from the Waywatchers here, going to push off and rout off those Rat Ogres. Of course, they do have a low leadership. Looks like the Gracie is taking an absolute punishment here just from sniping shots from that Waystalk and the Waywatchers. And it looks like Mudkip's given pretty much as good as he gets, maybe slightly down here. He's taking a decent amount of damage on Rat Ogres and his ranged troops, actually. Nice cycle charge coming from these Wild Riders. The Dryads do start to finally emerge from their tree formation here and trying to get ready to deliver a killing blow. Clan Rats are saturating in on top of these Wild Riders, should do some decent damage there. And as the rest of the battle goes, we do have the Glade Lord stuck in place with our Howling Warp Gale here, trying to get a little bit greedy, pop around and start sniping this Gracer and these ranged troops now that most of the Skaven have pushed up. It does in fact get stuck in place, and Warplock Giselles are doing a decent number on his health there. But he now gets free and does manage to escape a little bit. If that happened early on with all that range firepower still at the Skaven disposal, this could have been a completely different story here. Mortar's doing a decent job though, taking down those Waywatchers, and the Dryads are having to push out now from the trees. Looks like they're going to be getting a big Earth Blood just as they go into combat here, just medding them up in time, so when they do take damage, they're not going to lose models, they're going to keep medding that up. So really good play there as well. In the distance, Deepwood Scouts just sniping out some Skaven slaves here, and the Dragon is fairly confidently and brazenly just swinging across the Skaven army. This unit of Waywatchers has managed to snipe off those Warplock Giselles and force them out of harm's way. They're now trying to do some damage onto these Poison Wind Globedeers. Another Howling Warp Gale upgraded has been popped, with these rallying Warplock Giselles are going to be doing a bit of damage there, but only one unit isn't really going to be enough. And in the main fight here, the Dryads will mulch through these Clan Rats fairly effectively. We have had their leadership buff though, just keep them in the fight as long as possible and allow these mortars to really do the damage. Now, do we have any more units in reserve? We still have a completely unused unit of Wild Riders with full health, but the other unit is getting very beat up, and Mudkip I think he's doing a pretty good job here of making the comeback, really. Those mortars are doing some huge damage to these Dryads in the front line and really allowing these Skaven Slaves and Clarets to punch quite heavily above their weight. Council Guard turning around to try and pin in this Glade Lord, who is up against Rat Oaks, and it can be really hard to get your dragons out of these engagements. They have a lot of mass, but they do tend to struggle to push through fully. As you can see, there's some Rat Ogres hunting this guy down, and I think this could be the end of the Glade Lord, with the Storm Vermin completely surrounding him for anti-large damage. But no, he terror-outs the Rat Ogres, and that allows him to push his way out of that main line, and a big regrowth, keep him in the fight. That Terrify there was really clutch. We do have Deepwood Scouts trying to finish off those Warplock Giselles, but they are being pushed off by Clan Rats themselves. Warplock Giselles very low on health here. Massive breath attack. That Dragon got super pissed off there about being surrounded by the Council Guard. Big breath attack, and now is going to be charging in to help finish them off with some Dryad support. So overall, really nice play there, and it looks like the Grey Seer is going to be getting sniped out here. He is super low on health, just down to the 300. Now, other unit of Wild Riders has been made active, hunting down these Rat Ogres and starting to destroy this back line. So this game is now starting to go in favour of the Wood Elves, but it's been quite back and forth. In fact, Mudkip does decide to drop after he realises that it's probably a little bit too late. Very well played by both players. They had a really rough start by Mudkip, and then he clawed his way back in there, slowly dragging down that main line with the use of the mortars, and getting the Giselles to do a decent number on top of that Glade Lady, sorry. I mean, one unit of Wayward just got completely deleted, and the others were starting to run quite low on ammo. But overall, really nice fast mobile play there by Zophos. Really kind of elite Wood Elf play, and it's a good way to show players as well. Bringing away Stalkers can work, and I think that was deliberately done in case there was any big Warp Lightning cannons. You fire the shots in, and they explode, which is quite nice. And Mudkip, really nice play with Skaven, trying to push out to the enemy and use his ranged tools to his advantage, but it just wasn't quite enough. So it looks like Mudkip is going to go Empire, ban Dwarfs, and Dark Elves. Definitely want to ban Dowie in this matchup. They can be really rough. And the map we are going to be playing is Mirror Woods. I'm just going to go there. Make sure there's no questions on Discord. Nope, looks like we're all good. And that is Zyphos 1-up. So what do you guys think of that battle? That was super cool. That was like really tactical. That was pretty insane. Oh yeah, they went pick and ban at the end, so I'm just gonna have to scroll through a little bit to see what I have missed. The comment is every time it lags, someone picks wolves. I mean, it picked up instantly after that. It lagged at the start and then stored itself. But it's strange. It is a bit strange. Mudkip going Mudkip and Zyphos going Zyphos very much there. Just scrolling all through. The 13th was way too early, I fear. Yeah, it was pick and ban, definitely. Yeah, the mortars did work, man. The mortars did a ton of damage to that Dryad front line. Also really decent at taking down the Way Watchers as well. Zyphos is definitely a wizard. I can 100% confirm that. Yo, Pot Map. Nice to see you here, man. I didn't realise you were in chat. And Shidoku, what's up, dude? How does it feel watching your children slay each other for your amusement? Hopefully all good. Cool. Looks like Zyphos is just trying to figure out what he's going to go for. Looks like we're getting High Elves. I very much like the High Elves myself. In this matchup, I think that's a fairly balanced matchup, I would say. Cool. Leave these guys some time to design their armies. Just gonna have a quick sip of water. Mirror Woods is a super fun map. I think I played it first in someone's tournament. I did like pretty good in one tournament. Got through a couple of heats, and this is one of the maps that stuck out to me. I was like, oh, this is a really cool map because both deployments have some nice hills. There's lots of trees for sneaky stabbings, and I think it's pretty well balanced. So I have that in quite a lot of my tournaments, but we'll obviously break it down a little bit more when we get in there. Wickedy is everywhere. What's up, Funky Koval? Don't think I've seen you around before. Nice to meet you. Hope you're having a good time. Oh, you just got here. Well, man, this is the second semi-final of our Civil War today. So we have ODM members going up against each other, which is a really cool idea me and Pacta came up with. So it's 4 ODM players, which is Pacta and Loopy. Loopy managed to win that first semi-finals, and those Zyphos won up against Mudkip. And the final will be best of 3 as well. Wickedy is Agent Smith of the Warhammer community. Yes, he is. Zyphos playing elves? How unexpected. I agree fully. I don't think I've ever seen Zyphos play elves before, so... Apart from, of course, in that last matchup. I don't know what my best faction is. I think it's Lizardmen. They're definitely my favourite faction. I swear, I'm like good with like a few factions, which kind of helps in tournaments, but I don't think I'm a master of any. But yeah, definitely favours Lizardmen, High Elves, I think are 2 of my most competitive ones, and Norska probably. I'm getting into Chaos recently, especially in the Tomb Kings matchup. Archaon does so much work against constructs. He can delete Tomb Scorpions in a matter of seconds. Marauders are great tuning for that front line, and of course you have that fire magic as well, which is, as everyone knows, very good. So it looks like Mudkip did ready up, so I'm assuming he's ready. I'm just waiting on Zyphos. Final should be 3 elf mirrors. I might die. I might actually die if I have to cast elf mirror matches. I don't know what I would do. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool idea, man, isn't it? Thanks. Yeah, good. I thought it'd be good fun. It's something a little bit different. Of course, we will be going back to the usual matchups as well after this, where obviously everyone can compete. Of course, today was limited to the ODM members. But don't worry, if people want to compete in these type of things in the future, just hop on Discord and drop me a message. And I can get you involved in my Discord, and that's where I announce all my tournaments before I announce them to all the other Discords as well. And get you guys involved, which should be good to see. Cool, looks like Mudkip is ready. It should be pretty damn exciting. I'll become a flagellant to redeem myself. Nah, it's all good you're here, man. That's the main thing, that you have tuned in. Hopefully we'll get you back on the channel sometime soon as well. ParkMap has played in several of our tournaments before. Also, we do a King of Hill, which I'm trying to do weekly. It's a bit weird at the moment because I've just... I'm switching jobs. So, I'm still at the same place, but I'm switching from night shifts to day shifts, which is way better for my health. And should allow me to actually do more streams and tournaments. So, it's all up in the air a little bit at the moment of when I'm streaming and whatnot. Looks like these guys are ready. But normally we're going to be trying to do a tournament once a week, plus a King of the Hill once a week as well, where you literally just, you turn up onto the stream, you drop a message in the chat, and if you want to play, I'll add you to the list, and we try and get through as many players as possible. I think we did like a 3-hour and 40-minute stream last time, so we'll not be doing it that long again, unless it's a special event, I don't think. But we try and get through as many players as possible. But let's get this cracking. So, as I said before, super cool map. One deployment is here in this hill, which I think has maybe a tiny advantage because you can have the hill and the trees. But at the same time, that can be a negative if you've gone for a lot of artillery pieces and so forth, and they struggle to aim. On the other side, you do have this big hill here, and there's just mass trees everywhere. You can also do a lot of vanguarding, and you can get into these back pockets and then come up behind the enemy and flank them, which is really nice. And plus, I mean, look at this beautiful scenic mountains in the back. If anyone ever does want to go see some scenic mountains, I highly recommend Switzerland. I went to visit my friend there. I got a friend who lives in Zurich, and he was like, oh, we'll just go for a small hike, you know, up a mountain or something. And I assumed the mountain was an over-exaggeration, and he was joking. He was not. We did like 3 hours upwards, 2 hours along and an hour down, but it is incredible. It's like you're in the middle of Lord of the Rings, just surrounded by mountains. It's really cool. So we have a little bit of a rainbow over in the distance as well. And we'll see who comes out on top on these Battle of Champions. Looks like they're just about loading in, as it did reset. That tends to mean they're normally here. Oh, no, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. Have a quick look at chat while these guys do load in. Fight Zyphos, Wood Elves, and Bretonia as punishment. Yeah, that is true. After a while, these guys do start to know each other's tricks and so forth. And also, if we get the same people in each time, people kind of figure out, you know, people's play styles and whatnot. But then, you can use that to your advantage if you have, say, Lotus Moon, for example. I remember him doing this in ECL a couple of ECLs ago. Everyone knows he's incredibly good at that like skirmish play, right? So he'll use a lot of fast range units and pull you apart. So you design an army to stop that. But then he might also go for like a death build, like a big old death blob that you just don't have the tools to answer to. So there's a little bit of mind games that do come involved as well. Right, let's go through Zypho's high elf army. So we do have some Swordmasters of Hoeth, 2 units in fact. Ooh, 3 units. Very elite infantry. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys perform. Also have 1 unit of Spearmen just to saturate with them. We have 1, 2, 3 units of Lothran Seaguard, 4 units of Lothran Seaguard, one of my favourite units, such good utility. They of course do have decent accuracy and whatnot with their bows, and they have shields and spears as well to threaten the enemy. We have 1, 2 units of Silver Helms, which is all you really need up against the Empire. You can tangle with their cav and then allow your Swordmasters to actually cut them down and do the serious damage, but also at the same time they hold their own. They hold their own a little bit. So we also have a Mage of Life here. Looks like we're bringing quite a few spells. We do have the Book of Hoeth, very powerful ability there. Regrowth, Earthblood, and Awakening the Woods. And for a Lord, we have the Mighty Tyrion on horseback. And of course, he has brought Sunfang and all his buffs. I'm actually a big fan of Tyrion recently. He's really grown on me as a character. And that looks like it's it for the half build. So pretty elite kind of main core with a few nice little skirmish units on the side and cav for that shock damage. Now, if we have a little look at Mudkip's army, we do have some spearmen guarding the flanks. I'm assuming we've got 1 on either side. We do indeed. And the main core of swordsmen, who do very good up against those spearmen, but of course will get annihilated very quickly by the swordmasters. But to deal with those, we have a Hellblaster volley gun. Hell yes, Mudkip! I don't think I've ever seen this fin in a multiplayer game. I really don't. No, I've seen it once. Once, maybe? Oh, this is really cool. It'll be very interesting to see how this gets off. It can do a huge amount of damage if it can find its targets. The problem is it's got quite a short range for an artillery piece and gets shut down quite a lot by the enemy. We have the Hammer of the Witches in the back, ranging around Great Cannon, which is really going to have to target down those Swordmasters and do some decent damage. We also have some Demigryph Knights of Halberds, the Royal Altdorf Griffites as well, the Regiment Renowned version. We have some Reichsguard, for a nice bit of a Cavcore here, easily be able to deal with those Silver Helms if they fight that battle, one-on-one, but I'm sure there's a lot of other elements that will get involved. We also have a Jade Wizard with Regrowth and Earthblood and a Power Stone, and we have Marcus Wolfheart here. I'm a big fan of this Empire build here. I think that can do some serious work, so we're going to have to see how this does play out. Marcus got to be very careful. If Tyrion, who is incredibly fast, manages to catch him at any point, that is game over for Marcus. He will get annihilated, but of course, he does have his nets. Looks like we have 1 unit of Huntsmen as well, just coming out of the trees here to support Marcus a little bit. Marcus, gotta be careful, bro, though. Don't get too close too early on. Stick fairly close to your army, I would. Looks like the Hives are just advancing, using the trees to their best advantage. It's a really nice play here. You might as well force your way through here. Stop. There's no need to go for this open terrain here. But it's still going to take some damage. Looks like Tyrion did take a blast there from a cannon to the face. He can be healed up, though, at any point Zyphos needs. Looks like he's trying to pick on some Lothran Seaguard for now before, everything else gets into range. There's still this big pass here, though, they're going to have to force their way through, where they will take damage. And, of course, Mudkip can rotate his army slightly to force his opponent to come out this way through these trees here. These Swordmasters, are they going to be sticking back and hiding these trees? Nope, they're going to be pushing forwards. I'm assuming soon Mudkip is going to be switching his target onto those guys. Yeah, we can see some early cannon shots just going a little bit high over the Swordmasters, and there one does connect and sends 3 elves spinning in the air, taking a lot of damage. These Silver Helms are going to have to do a lot of work getting into that back line to shut down the range power of the Empire. But for them, there is Demigryph Knights, which are going to tear apart Silver Helms very quickly. Looks like Reichsguard are going to sally out after the Silver Helms, but the Royal Altdorf Griffites are going to be remaining hidden for now, being a nasty little tool to try and trap Zyphos' High Elves in. So Swordsmen are pushing up now. We are getting a heal on the Hellblaster Volley Gun, which is trading fairly a load of damage now on that Lothran Seaguard. Already up to 11 kills, but it's taking a huge amount of damage in return. Reichsguard are falling back, and that could be springing the trap. So these Royal Altdorf Griffites and Demi-Knights over here. Demigryph Knights, there we go, are swinging the trap on Tyrion, trying to ping him in. Silver Helms as well. Now, is he going to bring them up around to the rear to try and full on get a trap? I'm not sure. There is an Earthblood who's gone down, and Tyrion is an absolute beast of a combatant. He doesn't want to be stuck in this engagement too long. Demigryph's pinning in these Silver Helms who are getting torn apart. They have Earthblood, Regrowth, everything, trying to keep them going. But it's not looking too good for the High Elves in that situation. Silverhelm's now going to try and push into the back line. For the main fight, we've got a big old blob matchup here against the Swordmasters Hoef with all these Empire. Swordsmen trading good with Spearmen, but the rest of them are getting annihilated by these Swordmasters. And that could really threaten this back line, especially because that Hellblaster did get pushed off. So it looks like the Mage has managed to escape as well as the Silver Helms, but Tyrion is a little bit pinned in, but he's happy to tank this at the moment, doing some great work and getting some assists with Silver Helms. Swordmasters also going to try and saturate on top. They just do huge amounts of damage in general, so a bad situation flipped into a very good situation in the high ground there for the mighty Zyphos. Swordmasters will literally be able to cleave their way through all three of these units fairly effectively. They're just that much more elite. And unfortunately for these poor Huntsmen and Hellblaster Volley Gun, the Lothran Seaguard have traded so effectively against them. And this one unfortunately can't get back onto its gun crew just yet. And we do have the Hammer of Witches, which is currently obstructed. Of course, there's a load of micro going on up here, so it's really hard to manage all these Finns at once. We do have the Right Guard who have managed to surround the Mage of Life, trying to pin her down. And over up on the high ground, Demigryph Knights are still relatively healthy, but Tyrion is just taking no damage here. Silverhelm's taking an absolute beating, of course. Swordmasters very healthy, however. So in the trees, unfortunately, Spearman did get pushed off, and that Jade Wizard now is in combat with Swordmasters, who's going to get chopped down pretty quickly. And the Hammer of Witches is now going to start getting focused down on by all these Lothran Seaguard. Hellblast crew is trying to run back to its artillery piece, and Swordsman, a really nice pick. They are tearing through Spearmen, but they're getting dragged down by Swordmaster Hoef so quickly. It's really hard to counter that. Up in the high ground, Tyrion taking a huge amount of damage, fighting the roll out of Gryphites, now in more of a vacuum kind of space over here, away from these Swordmasters, who are slowly trickling over to help deal with them. Tyrion is taking an absolute beating now, and maybe this situation can be saved. We even have some more Reiksguard popping back as well. Might be better getting on top of these Lothran Seaguard, because they're doing huge work to these artillery crews, and these guns are needed to help deal with these Swordmasters. There's nothing really in this Empire army that can actually handle them. Muswolf trotting over here, trying to help snipe out Tyrion, no doubt, who does have Feint and Reposote. Popped on him, I said that completely wrong, but giving him that melee defense, physical resistance, and all that good stuff, allowing him to scare off those roll out of Gryphites, who are going to flee off the battlefield here. They are so close to the edge, and the other unit of Right Guard is fleeing for the hills, and this battle is just slipping and ebbing ever more in the favour of the High Elves, I believe. Now we have Demigryphs in the night trying to chase down, in fact, terrify and completely break off some Silver Helms there. Looks like they're trying to hunt down that Mage. We also have some Swordsmen in the back there, which need to come back here and help defend the main battle line, but I suppose it's already gone. Maybe you just need to try and pick and choose your engagements where you can. Well, looks like they were just saying ready in the chat. And Tyrion has, unfortunately, hopped onto a Marcus Wolfheart, who can try his 360 no-scopes all at once. But yeah, I think that was game over there, and Mudkip does bow out. But very well played. I actually really liked Mudkip's army as well. Really liked the idea behind it. Just as someone said earlier on, Zyphos is just a magician, man. He gets into your back line. He only had 2 cav units and Tyrion, and he still managed to overwhelm this back line. The Hellblaster Volley Gun, unfortunately, sniped out by Lothran Seaguard, and that's what I mean about his short range. He can struggle to get that value, as there's so many ways to shut it down quickly. Swordmasters, what a pick. Managing to just you wouldn't think you would need elite infantry against the Empire, but they managed to carve their way through so quickly, put pressure on that back line, and also help out in those big blob fights up against the Demigryphs. So, GG all round. And now we just need to wait on the mighty Loopy to hop in. We will switch up the maps quick. So we are going to be on Kelp and Coldust. And I will change chat. Oh, got a couple of messages in Discord. Make sure it's nothing involving this, which is good. So Zophos back down to 1. And we have the mighty Loopy. Cool. That's going to be one hell of a final between 2 very elite players, but very well played to Mudkip as well, and also Pactor as well, who went out in the first round. 2 very highly skilled players, and some really nice play by both of them, which is always good to see. I gave him a couple of minutes to hop in. If not, I'll message him in Discord and let him know he is up. Looks like I've missed quite a lot in chat, but looks like we're all good to bring some executioners or swordsmen in any build. Mate, saying Tyrion's a meme. I love Tyrion. Honestly, I think he can be pretty damn decent. But then again, that's probably because I really struggle with people like Teclis, and I get them sniped and killed. So Tyrion, he's a bit more of a lord, you know, you don't have to worry about too much. It's time for the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny between Zyphos and Loopy, two brothers fighting against each other for the glory of Clan ODM. Who is your money on? Those are some pretty dominant displays from both of them, really putting their foot down and trying to show who's boss. I think the early victory could be key. Whoever wins the first game, I think it just takes so much pressure off you, allows you to be a bit more experimental and try different stuff. Yes, Shidoku is the ODM leader, I believe. At least he started up the clan, I believe. Yes, there we go. Yeah, he is. Nice to see. What's that? So, Zypho's coming in. It's going to be interesting to see which these guys pick. I'm expecting to see a lot of elves. Is ODM like an elf-based place, Shidoku? Is it like you have to love elves to get into the ODM clan? Or is it, there's different qualifications, I suppose? But yeah, once more, a massive shout out to ODM for taking part in this, actually. Because, of course, we had the idea for it, but they're the ones who make the magic happen and make it work. And put on a show for you guys. I can flip a coin if they want. So they can't really do gents agreements. If they want to do pick and ban, I'm happy to flip a coin. Dope. Right, now I need to grab a coin. Ah, oh, nice, got one there, bye. So heads, Zyphos picks and bans first. Tails, Loopy does. It is heads, so Mr. Zyphos picks first. The coin has spoketh. Be interested to see who we get. I'm expecting definitely some Wood Elves, probably by both of these players at different points. You must like pizza to be an ODM. Who doesn't love pizza? Everyone loves pizza. I was actually speaking to my friend about this yesterday, and like, pizza's just amazing in general. ODM used to be a French clan, but I'm pretty sure Zyphos is the only French allies. I believe Loopy is half French, if that counts. Does pride count as pizza? Mate, everyone loves pizza. It's so good. So good. So it's like he is just waiting and he'll be making up his mind. Which is good to see. So if you guys do have any questions, do feel free to ask them now while we're in this little bit of downtime. As it's going to be quite... not too long left in the stream, actually. There's one game left. Well, obviously it's best of 3, so it could be up to 3 games. If you do have questions, feel free to ask away. It's good to see you guys in the chat watching. You guys are what really makes this happen. Of course, the competitors and the viewers. I'm just kind of here as like an intermedium to guide you guys through it. And it's been really good so far. Since when I first started out, it's really cool to see like how the whole YouTube channel's developed. The weekly tournaments, King of the Hills, all that type of stuff has really kind of come along quite nicely. Okay, it looks like Zyphos is going Dark Elves, Abandoned Wood Elves, and High Elves. He obviously knows he doesn't want another elf on elf violence. Unfortunately, that free games of elf on elf violence isn't going to happen. Who do I pick up against Dark Elves coming into this? I actually quite like Lizman into this. I used to hate it, but once there's a guy called Orokabos, who is a very good player, kind of taught me that it's very key. If you win the skirmish game with the Lizmen, it's actually quite an easy matchup. So Chameleon Skinks, Cold One Riders, all that good stuff can really help you out. And since then, I actually really don't mind the matchup too much against the Dark Elves. Also, I've heard the Stegodon with the big bolt front its bank is actually pretty good at sniping out the chariots, which a lot of people find nasty. Oh, a bit of gluten intolerance. Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Well, they still like the pizza. They just can't have it. That's the difference. Like, if you like pizza, that's fine. You don't have to eat pizza. But you gotta enjoy it. Oh, you didn't ban Dark Elves. Well, we could get a Dark Elf mirror match, I suppose. which, you know, I can cast. I'm happy to cast it. It will be incredibly confusing and whatnot, but it could be quite interesting as well. I don't really do any mirror matches on the channel, so it'll be good to see. Make sure there's no questions in Discord. Nope, looks like we're all good, I believe. Yeah, we're all good. Looks like we're getting Beastmen. Hell yes. Be nice to see some interesting Beastmen builds. Obviously, a fantastic rush faction. Very good at swarming, closing that net around your opponent and just picking them apart and then going for a big old brawl. But recently, I've seen a lot of people bring the spawns and minotaurs and stuff. So you never know. Might try to do a bit of mind trickery and outplay his opponent there. Dark Elf Mirror would be too bloody. That would be savagery. But Dark Elves, they're known for just, you know, going up and scrapping with everyone and anyone. So I could see it happening in the lore. You can only eat gluten-free pizza from a gluten-free oven. Oh, so... Okay. So you couldn't go out and eat pizza for the most part, because if they cook it in the same, like, pizza oven. That's pretty cool, though. But if someone's got a really bad intolerance, they can't have a pizza in an oven. That sucks. In, like, the same oven as another one. Man, I'd risk it all. I'd risk it all for a good pizza. If there was, like, a full-on, like... I like a thin crust, like, crispy pizza. Oh, I'd be all over that. I've got my housemate, has an intolerance to, like, dairy products. But he just goes for it. If it's like an ice cream or something, he will accept the risks. Oh, these guys design their armies. So massive shout out to all you guys for tuning in. If you are enjoying what you see as we go into this finals of this 4-man best of 3 tournament, please do hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're enjoying the stuff and you want to see more and all that good stuff. And if you do want to support the channel in any other way, I do have a link just in the description to a Patreon account. But at the same time, if you guys just want to sit out, chill, please feel free to do that as well. Apologies for bombarding you with all that stuff. As I said before, it's just one of those things you have to do at this point, really, when you're just a small little YouTuber trying to make it big in the world. The best thing actually about doing YouTube is the Total War community is so good. I basically had no problems. I had one in the last ECL. But, oh no, 2 ECLs ago. But that wasn't like anyone's fault. But like for the most part, like everyone's like super friendly, happy to compete and stuff, and that gives you so much content. I have such a big backlog at the moment of replays, different people that I'm casting as I go and so forth. But it really helps and makes, you know, making a YouTube channel very easy, because it can be quite a scary thing when you kick off. But you get to know everyone. Everyone's super chill, super nice, always happy to help out new players as well. So big shout out to Noobhammer as well, which is a Discord. So if you're new to the game, you're seeing this, and you want to get involved in the multiplayer scene, hop onto Noobhammer. There's experienced players on there, there's new players on there. Experienced ones help, you know, teach the newer players, and there's tournaments as well for that kind of skill level. So it's very good. I highly, highly recommend. Let's have a quick little look at chat. Looks like we're all good. Oh, my chat just restarted for some reason. Dark, you have to come eat pizza in Italy once. Man, I have been to Italy. I have been to Rome. On my 18th birthday, I went to Rome. It was awesome. I think I had pizza at some point, but no, I didn't. I think I had like some super awesome chicken stuff. It was really cool. I'd love to come to Italy, man. Italy would be amazing. That's definitely on my bucket list. I want to go across Scandinavia, Italy, New Zealand. I've been to New Zealand when I was younger. I've got some family out there, some cousins. Went and stayed with them, and it was really cool. Yeah, I'm going to piss so much weight on if I go to Italy. It's so good. Did you say the best Italian pizza is Hawaii? Oh, controversial, Ben the Barman. Yes, Palpatine, we do in fact have the Beastie Boys. Looks like we're all good. Just sign their army, just making sure, like... I was like, make sure my screen hadn't frozen or something. Looks like we're all good. I'm assuming he means Hawaiian pizza. Ronin, which is... Oh, unless I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but it's a pineapple on pizza, basically, with ham. Oh, man. I really want to go to Italy now and eat some pizza. After this, I'm going to go buy some pizza. Go down the road and buy a nice pizza. It won't be the same as a nice Italian pizza, but... So, Parkman, whereabouts do you live in Italy? Be interesting to know. No one takes it, and like 3 or 4 actually get really angry. That's hilarious. They actually get angry about the free pizza because it's a Hawaiian pizza. Right, I'm just going to check Discord. Yeah, no, we're all good. Sweet. Looks like Loopy is ready. Just waiting on the Mighty Zophos. Carbon Colders, pretty fun map. We'll see it once we get into it, of course, but there is 2 little kind of light ridges where it's nice to do a little bit of fire off. It is impassable terrain as well. There's also some nice mixture of trees and open land. And the other 2 maps on this best of 3 finals will be Alpine Ridge, which is a super fun thematic map. Oh, looks like weird build incoming. Hell yes! You have been warned, chat. Zyphos has a weird ass build. So round 2 will be done on Alpine Ridge, super cool map, and then Pillar of Bone if it goes all the way. You're from Florence, hell yeah, man. Does anyone get hurt? Imagine if someone like flipped out much and actually attacked. Man, I hope Florence is nice. Sounds pretty cool. I definitely want to come visit at some point. That'd be awesome. Oh, we have another Italian as well, Ronan. Man, the Total War community is so, like, it's like reached everywhere. I know it's really big in Europe, Russia, and China, I think. Which is why one of the, I think Total War Warhammer 3 we're definitely going to see is like a fire, which is like loosely based on like a Chinese fantasy faction, I think, but I could be a little bit wrong there. My Warhammer lore is rather old, unfortunately. I used to play Tabletop as a kid, used to play Lizmen. Loved them. It was awesome. I used to bring Saurus Old Blood on a console when everyone else brought Slam, because, come on, it's a dinosaur on a dinosaur. It's just so badass. But anyway, let's have a little look at the map. So as I said before, we have these 2 little raised platforms. I think this one has a slightly better, just because of its width, it's slightly longer. There's a few trees to cover as well. And of course, this mountain here is impassable, so I have to go round. Opens up a lot of possibilities as well, though, for flanking maneuvers with Cav looping around behind your enemy. There's also some trees on this left-hand side and in this deployment zone here, just for more sneaky stabbings. There's trees all around the periphery as well. Allows you to do some sneaky skirmish play, which we've seen both of these players pull off so far. So I'm really interested to see how this matchup goes. What are you guys most looking forward to as well in Total Warhammer 3? Bologna to anyone who's interested in food and drink. Hell yeah, I'm going to look into that. Oh man, I'm just... Oh man, you can hear my stomach. I don't know if you could hear that. My stomach just rumbled after looking at all your guys' pizza chat. So let's look at Zyphos' weird build, and I can confirm it is pretty damn weird. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Dark Riders. It looks like most of the combat variety with 1 unit with repeater crossbows here. For the main line, we have Dread Spears mixing with Blackguard of Nagarons, going a bit more elite, and 1 unit of Witch Elves as well for extra damage. So 2 units of Blackguard, 3 units of Spearmen, Witch Elves as well. We have a Death Hag up on top of her very scary Blood Cauldron here, where she has teleported to. So of course she is going to be coming in with Fury of Cain, Chillblade, all that nasty good stuff. We also have a Bloodrack Shrine as well. So that is the Medusa up here on the shrine. A mobile artillery piece. Also not too bad in combat. Has magic damage and all that good stuff. Also comes with the abilities of Aura of Odor. Plus 7 melee attack and helped leadership. And then minus to the enemy with the Agony. Up in the skies we have Marathi on top of a very disgusting Hellsteed. And she's coming in with Wand of Kadron. Which is pretty much a must pick. It's very good. And Soul Sealer, which is also super good. She of course has Heart Render on her as well. So pretty cool build. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And let's have a little look at Loopy's Beastmen build. So up front, he has some Vanguard of Chaos Warhounds, assisted by Harpies here, really looking to shut down any early skirmish play instantly. He then has a huge core of Centaurs. We have 1 with great weapons, 2 with thrown axes, and also the Sons of Goros. The Centaurs with great weapons. I believe, actually, in lore, most Centaurs are at some point a son of Goros, as he slept with so many people and mated so much. These guys, 1, look incredibly badass, but of course also give Guardian, which is pretty useful. They are very rowdy themselves. We have a Brave Shaman of Shadows. Looks like he's bringing the Mind Razor, which is being used quite a lot recently in the current meta. Plus 50% armor piercing and weapon damage. Also the Wyvern and Melkov's Mystifying Miasma. Now for his main battle line, he does have Gore Herds with shields. Fairly cheap and cheerful, but they get the job done. And what do we have? Well, it looks like half his army is actually deployed in the back here. So we have a load of gore herds in the back. Yeah, with all the Centaurs. We have Kazarak One Eye coming up on top of his mighty mount here as well. Kazarak, haven't seen him in forever. Obviously looking to go for the full Vanguard build. Apocalyptic Vision and Deadly Onslaught are his tools of choice. And is that the whole army? I think it might well be. So a super heavy Vanguard build here. We've got Centaurs remaining in the back, but they may be moved forward. But you might want to keep them here as well, so he gets that nice full surround nice and early on. And it looks like, in fact, we're going for a front attack with the Gore Herds and the Centaurs in the back. So, going to be super fun. Early game predictions, I have no idea. Balance Power is favouring fairly heavily, actually, early on the Beastmen. They're going to tear through these Dread Spears very quickly, but those Blackguard could be a fairly chunky problem. A lot of the kind of punching power of this Beastman army isn't it Centaurs, and of course Blackguard and Agarond have halberds, so they're good anti-large, but they could be swarmed by the sheer mass of Beastmen. So it'll be very interesting to see. The Death Hag and the Blood Rack Shrine should be able to do a decent job as well. Do they both cause terror? I believe they do. Yes, they both cause fear and terror. Looks like the guys are ready to get cracking. And instant lag as this starts. This is so annoying. We didn't have this in the last game at all. And unfortunately takes away a little bit from the Vanguard, but it should hopefully sort itself out fairly quickly. It might be my connection to Loopy, unfortunately, as we did lag in the first games as well. But no, it seems to be fully fixed now as it goes in, which is good. Some early charges going to be coming Blackrock Shrine. Marathi just trying to nuke one unit of Goreherd and get them off the field as quickly as possible. But the Harpies are swooping into the back, and I'm assuming they're going to start targeting down these Dark Riders, at least the range one. Centaurs flooding in from the back here, getting a really nice rear charge on those Dark Riders. So obviously Cyphers didn't expect this when he saw, the frontal assault, and they're going to crump these Dark Riders, and all of a sudden the mobility of the Dark Elves is getting annihilated. But in the front line, it is the other way around. Goreherd's getting deleted off the field here by that early smack from Dark Elves. Over in the trees, we have Dread Spears being pulled down by Goreherds here. Kazrak rolling dirty, force off some Dark Riders. What an early just smack in the face to both forces here. These Bloodrack Shrines, Death Hags, and all that nasty stuff are going to be quite hard to deal with, though. There's not much anti-large in the form for the Beastmen. And these Blackguard and Agarond are also going to be a really big challenge. But it looks like he's managed to pull apart some Dark Riders over here, popped on them with some Poison Hounds, and then finished them off with Centaurs. So nice play overall there by the mighty Loopy. But his front line just got hammered so early on, so quickly there, and some huge damage. Centaurs are trying to find a home roaming in the back. Harpies coming in for a rear attack on some Dread Spears, trying to break those guys off. Then in the trees we have, is that Centaurs? No, okay, thank God. We have Goreherds fighting Blackguard, which they will lose, unfortunately. And it looks like Marathi was trying to get her hands on Kazak One Eye. Of course, she does have her halberd and is anti-large. There's just a lot of the Dark Elf stuff. Don't know if the Beastmen are going to be able to deal with, but they had really nice straight out of the gates there, punching down all of those Dark Riders instantly. I don't think there's any left on the battlefield here. And now it's going to be a bit of a mobility game of can he pick and choose his engagements, get those thrown axes to take down the Death Hag and really do some decent damage. But those thrown axes are also needed against the Black Guard, because they're going to be really nasty here. Goreherds charging in, just trying to muck stuff up where they can. Centaurs fleeing from spears, trying to protect Kazrak One Eye as well. Looks like Marathi is well and truly on the hunt. He needs to get Kazrak back round and hidden behind his main forces. We have some Centaurs as well, who are just chilling at the moment, allowing these thrown axes to do the damage where they can. It looks like Kazrak did get caught up, so he's having to fling in the Centaurs to try and allow him to escape. Actually, he's turning to fight this. Very interesting choice here. Big Soul Sealer has come down as well. But he's doing some really good work on Marathi, of course. On his chariot, he gets some really nice AP damage. He's up to 400 weapon strength on that then. The Wyvern also comes down as well, trying to snipe out Marathi, but he realises it's a losing engagement and has to flee around that tree there and try and escape. Not too much damage taken, but he did unfortunately lose those Centaurs, and it's going to be hard to escape from Marathi. She is so quick, but for the rest of the battle, the Centaurs are just starting to run shop, and we need to get these guys in the back here active again. They can't allow the Dark Elves to bunch up once more. He needs to pick apart these units where he can, take down these Blackguard while they're separated from their main forces. Now, unfortunately, it looks like Kazrak has in fact been rampaged, which is disaster as he turns around and charges into this Death Hag, and he's now terrified and going to be running for the hills. It might save him, though. Getting terrified might not have been the worst for him, but that's really unfortunate there, getting Kazrak rampaged and forced into these nasties he doesn't want to come into. So the Bloodrack Shrine is just rolling dirty, as it kind of often does, chasing away units where it can. But you can see Loopy trying to get those thrown axes on top of it to do some decent damage. And Kazrak, he's going to stand and fight now. He knows he's pretty doomed. Going to pop all his buffs, try and get him to do as much damage as possible. But unfortunately, he does break off the field. Goreherds in return, though, do get those buffs. But I think this battle is now starting to go fairly in favour of the Dark Elves. Balance of power is resembling that now. Really nice Beastmen build, very fast and mobile, but they have nothing to deal with these Blackguard or really these two big shrines. Looks like we were going to get a bit of cycle charge and cannon from the Centaurs, but they decided to back out, and the Centaurs with Throne Axes are having to retreat a little bit, but they have also been rampaged. It's a bit of a disaster here, as they're now going to be just full and deleted. So, Marathi is doing pretty good, right? She's hunting down Krajak one eye, but she has been separated, but luckily for Xiphos, he does manage to notice that he will get back up in the air again. Actually, will he? She's taken forever to get into the sky, and now she's completely surrounded by Centaurs. She's really going to struggle to get out of this, and if there's no support quickly, she could get dragged down, and that'd be a massive lifeline back into this game for Lupus. Then he might be able to cycle charge of the Blackguard, into submission, and force him off the field. Just some Goreherds just launch themselves into Thread Spears, trying to get a little bit of value out of themselves before they do go down. Marathi is getting absolutely hammered here. Looks like, is that another Soul Stealer coming down? A big Soul Stealer, I think. Oh no, that's the wand coming down. So very nice micro here by Loopy, pulling his forces away so they don't suffer all that damage. But Soul Stealer comes in, and that's just eating through all of these guys here. Marathi in return is almost down, but Khazrak is going to fall as well. The rest of the battlefield, though, really nice plays, managing to pick off some Blackguard and Dread Spears when they're isolated, getting in some cycle charging where they can to do some serious damage. So it looks like, unfortunately, Khazrak did go down here. It was originally a really nice pick, but with some really nice kind of timing of magic by Marathi, this bad situation turned into a great situation, and they're now going to be able to scare off this entire force of Centaurs, which is really going to push the balance of power massively in favour of the Dark Elves. So you have the Brave Shaman fleeing here from the Dread Spears, who did get a Withering popped on them just to try and do some extra damage, but I think that is going to be game over. There's just no way these Beastmen have enough kind of punch in them left to deal with this. We do have some rallying troops on the edge here, but Sons of Goros, they flee to go spread the seed of Goros, I suppose, amongst the world. Centaur's also being forced off here, and that is going to be game. We're getting some buffs popped over here. Melkoff's miss. Oh no, the Mind Rays are popping down, trying to give these guys a bit of armor piercing damage. But that is going to be round one to the mighty Xiphos. Very well played here. So hopefully Loopy can do a good comeback here, as I think all the games so far have been 2-0s, and we want to see some. We want to see as many games as possible. We're very well played. Super interesting build. I get what he meant about it being a weird build, but those shrines managed to punch through really early on, do some huge damage to the kind of cheap and cheerful Goreherds here, and then there was just nothing the Beastmen had brought to deal with the Blackguard. There was just nothing here which could really pull them down. I mean, cycle charging maybe from the chariots and the Centaurs, but that's so risky against halberd units. And the Throne Axes had to deal with other situations. So really well thought out build here. I think that worked really well. But at the same time, Loopy, super fun Vanguard build. And it's a risk when you do those Vanguard builds. And unfortunately, it didn't quite pay off for him there. But still, super cool build and idea. So Alpine Ridge is going to be the next map. But yeah, Loopy said he liked that shine. Yeah, that was really cool. That was a very cool build. So let's change the scoreboard now. Xiphos is up 1-0, so this could be the final game. Getting some messages on Discord. Nah, it looks like it's all good. And it looks like Loopy is going Wood Elves, which I think is probably both these guys' favourite faction, from what I gather. Suns do not have bonus versus large, but they have... I don't think they have bonus versus large, but they have great weapons. So they can still do a decent amount of damage to like single entities and stuff, so they're actually pretty good. Yeah, those shrines... The Terracotta shrines breaking into those Goreherds early on, just slapping them around, man, breaking off that many people was a really nice play. Yeah, those Blackguard, it's just... There's nothing really that can take them down. Need for Speed Warhammer 2, I love it. I mean, usually bring the regiment round cycle here. I can see that working really well. I can see that working really well. Yeah, there's some very nice Beastman play, you are right, Funky. But unfortunately, that was just really tough. Mirror, no, Ben, no, bad. Bad, Ben. We don't want a mirror match. Loopy bans Skaven and Dwarfs, okay. Dwarfs can be a... I think Wood Elves used to do well against Dwarves back in Total Warhammer 1, I believe, but now it's very much Dwarf favoured. And Skaven as well can be a pain for Wood Elves. We've seen it done, though, obviously, in round 1 between Zyphus and Mudkip. Oh, sorry, just burping now. Let's grab a drink of water. So any final questions, guys, before what could be the last battle? Hopefully not. Oh, Zyphos is going for the hard counter and bringing Bretonia. Sons of Goros, they have magic attacks. Do they? I don't... I can't recall. I haven't played Beastmen in quite a while. I did used to bring them quite a lot. They are very good, though. They are indeed very good. So if you guys do have any questions, now is your time to ask. It should be good fun. And also, for people who have just joined and whatnot, this is the finals. We had 2 semi-finals, and this is the final heat, and Zyphos is up 1-0 in this best of 3. But have no fear, the whole video will be uploaded onto YouTube. It takes like 1 hour maybe, maybe even not that actually, since I got my LAN cable. Like, it'll take like half an hour maybe before the whole thing actually does get fully uploaded, and you can go back and chill and watch it. Zyphos is going for the mighty Bretonians here, which I believe are making their debut in this tournament. Oh, just seen a big message come through from the mighty part map. Blackguard, Witches, they can use a cycle to bait the enemy, so on his attack. Yeah, I like that. That's going to be really good at destroying Blackguard. They do have magic attacks, nice. Cheers, Ronin. Thank you for stopping by anyway, man. Great to see you here. You can always come back and watch this one later, man. Maybe ask Extreme Meme team members if they want to do something similar. I'd be more than happy to do that as well. We actually have Noob for Life already in my Discord, and he's been like a long time player on the channel. Super cool guy as well, and I believe he's Extreme Meme team, so I might use that as a link in and ask the guys. I think we also had Falcon actually in one of my early tournaments as well, so I could pop one of those guys a message if this format is successful. And it looks like people are enjoying it. Since they pimped up Harpies, making such ambush tactics Beastmen is way easier. Hell yes. Harpies, I used to take Harpies anyway, just because it's really easy to get into the back line quickly and shut down units, even if you're sacrificing the Harpies. But since they got the buff, yeah. Beastmen ambush tactics, I'm really happy they're actually doable as well now. They're always quite useful, but now that they're quite powerful, because it is the Beastman's kind of main gimmick, you know, they're meant to be ambushes, quite like the Wood Elves. But yeah. What other big clans are there? I know there's QSA, which I believe is... I know Ericrastic is a part of, and A Move Hacker. I'm not sure I've seen too many other QSA members. Yeah, Flying Taco's as well in the Discord. Yeah, he is. He's indeed. Flying Taco's actually won one of my tournaments, I think 3 tournaments ago. Yeah, peace out, Renan. Peace out, my dude. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, honestly, Extreme Meme Team people are like super friendly as well. I've never had a problem with any of them, really. I don't think I've had any problem with anyone in Warhammer. Cool, Loopy is ready to go. The only like controversial thing is I played someone in the last ECL who's meant to be banned from the ECL. I mean, I got on with him fine. Like in the chat, we were just talking and stuff. But he was under a different name, and I think pretended to be a newer player, which was obviously a little bit controversial and whatnot. If you're banned, obviously you shouldn't hop in. But I've never really had any problem with anyone as far as like setting up tournaments in the community. Obviously on ladder, you always get people who are going to quick lock in or kite draw on stuff now and again. But those guys they get banned from tournaments because it kind of becomes known. It's quite nice that all the tournaments are run by people in the community. A lot of these kind of esports events and stuff are run by companies, so there's still a lot of like really sweaty play. But because this is run by like community people, you can design the rules quite nicely. We have some really nice rules by Shelland Apache and Aerocrastic have popped up to help stop battles being boring and like nice for viewers and not too cheesy and whatnot. And if you've got a good reputation, that just kind of precedes you and really helps out. Yes, it was Arkan. Yeah, I see you, Ben. AIMA is King of the Dead. RTK is AC, yes, AC. BBB is Spanish. I believe Chief plays for them. EB is Vicious Satsuma. So it looks like we have a lot of a lot of clans around. CC is Shetland and Pip. Oh, of course, CC. What does AC stand for? Zach told me once, if he loses, it's air conditioners. But if he wins, it's something else. But it sounds like there's a lot of people around. I mean, if they're interested in this, if any of you are members of any clan, please do get in touch with me. And I'll happily cast another one. If not, I may message around a few people if it's successful and do one of these maybe every other week or so. So, we are on Alpine Ridge, an absolute OG map. It is, in fact, in Rome Total War, the first Total War game, at least the first time I'm aware of. But the map has changed very much from then. So, we have this big hill in the middle here, which obviously is a big shot blocker, which allows you to do a lot of sneak deployment, as a lot of the game, when you see your opponent deployed, you can figure out where you want to send units and how you want to kind of change your deployment, but because of this big shot blocker, it's really hard to see what is going on. On the sides, we do have some trees, especially heavily populated on this right-hand flank, for some skirmish play. Now, you don't have to take the hill. It, of course, does give you the high ground, and as Anakin will tell you, that can be very, very deadly indeed. But at the same time, you can be shot off the high ground if you want to sit back and ping them away. So let's go through Xiphos, who is currently one up, going for the title, trying to claw his way on top of this hill, and the title with Bretonnian. So we do have one unit of Grail Knights, it looks like. We have one on the left-hand flank, and Defenders of Fleur de Lis on the right, around, what are they called? Knights Errant, and we also have another unit of Grail Knights on the right-hand flank as well. So pretty good cav contingent, as you'd expect from the Bretonnians. We have a swarm of peasant mobs down the middle here, accompanying some men-at-arms. So nice, cheap, and cheerful from the infantry. Really like this pick, as it stops the elves from hardcore sniping out any expensive units. Of course, you have the cav, but they're much more mobile, and you can keep them away from the enemy. Two units of peasant bowmen, one with pox arrows, who tend to trade very effectively against wood elf artillery, or range, sorry. We have a Damsel of Life, bringing regrowth, earth blood, and a power stone. We have a bit of a range, air core here, which is pretty cool. But first of all, we'll get into this bit of skirmish. We have two units of mounted yeoman archers, and up in the air we have King Leon Kerr, of course, with all his mighty buffs. He's got a really good one for this matchup, I believe, which is the Lion Shield, giving that missile resistance, and the Sword of Corone is one of the best items in the game, especially for its price. We also have two units of Pegasus Knights. This is a deadly build. I think that really is well suited for taking down wood elves. Now, wood elves clinging to the trees a little bit more, which is nice to see. We have a core in the infantry of Eternal Guard. We in fact have 5 units of them. Really nice pick, because they'll help deal with the cavalry and can trade fairly effectively against cheap and cheerful Bretonnian chaff. We have 1 unit of Wild Riders in the back. We in fact have 2 in the back. Is it just the 2 units of Wild Riders? Looks like we have... Yep, just the 2. We then have 1 unit of Sisters of the Thorn, their sister cousins. We have 2 units of Glade Riders with Hagbane tips in the trees, and 2 units out deployed just in front. Those guys are really good at tearing down peasant bowmen and giving you that mobile advantage. We have the Hawkeye's Drakira, yes! These guys look, one, incredibly cool, and have a smoke bomb, which is really useful in case they get caught by cavs. As you can see down here, smoke bomb lowers charge speed and speed by 76%, allowing these guys to escape. Now for leadership, we do have a Branch Wraith with Earth Blood, and is that Melkov's Mystifying Miasma? Or was it Enfeebling? Yep, no, it's Melkov's Mystifying Miasma. And for his good old lordship, we have a Glade Lord on a horse. I don't see this guy too often. Looking pretty damn good here. It is, in fact, the Glade Lady. She, of course, has her net and arrows of Kurnos. I believe that is the battle, so let's get away. It is the final time to put bets into the chat. Will Xiphos take this in a 2-0 series, or will Loopy manage to drag this out to a 3-match game? Oh, sorry, my chat's just disappeared, so I'm going to try and pop into that. Oh, and we are underway. So, chat, unfortunately, if there's any questions, I will be a little bit late at answering them. But let's get into this battle and underway. So, Glade Riders are pushing up instantly, trying to get some early shots. Looks like on to some peasants. Or actually, they're probably trying to target out the Pegasus Knights there. He doesn't want to shoot the peasants, though, because that is just wasting valuable ammo. The filthy swarms of peasants can wait for the Eternal Guard. But it looks like he's going to try and force the Bretonnians forward, just for a nice little bit of early harass. Mounted Yeomen are going to be exchanging shots here, and they are much cheaper, of course, so it's probably pretty good value for them. But the Sisters Fawn also get involved now, Cobian over some javelins. I believe these guys have javelins. Yes, they are like their little javelins on the side. But some early exchange coming in. Mounted Yeomen doing some nice darting back and forth, trying to avoid much missile fire as possible. Fortunately, the Glade Guard do keep accidentally targeting these peasant mobs, which it really isn't good for them and the ammo, but of course they're probably on auto-aim. Or auto-fire, will. There we go. But yeah, it looks like Mounted Yeomen are now taking quite a pounding, in fact having to pull back slightly. Those peasant archers need to push up and help out and engage, but really this whole battalion force is going to be forced forward into the waiting Eternal Guard spears, and of course the sneaky ammunition from the behind. Glade Riders getting in some really decent work, coping some shots over, and they're going to be used to try and target out the ranged core, which then allows the Wild Rider unit and the rest of this force to kind of just dart around and pick and choose their targets at will. A load of shots coming in all in one go on top of those Mounted Yeoman archers. Did these guys load off? They did. The Hawkeye's Kira getting a shot in there, doing some huge damage. Both those units down, one to just below half health and one down about a quarter health here. Once again, more shots coming in at peasants, which isn't too good, but the Hawkeye's Kira looks like they fling some shots into Ground Knights, but it kind of, the damage goes between the two a little bit. In fact, that might have even been the Sisters of Thorn instead of the Hawkeye's Kira, because there wasn't too much damage there, but still some shots coming out, hitting some peasant mobs. Looks like the Bretons are starting to fall back just a little bit, and getting a bit of a regrowth pop in on their cav units. Although they did lose a few models, so of course those guys won't be coming back. Glade Riders just dying around, shooting peasant mobs, and it looks like they might even be trying to go into combat to force these guys off, and they have in fact managed to break off one unit of Mounted Yeomen. If they can snip around the side and force those guys off, that would be really good, but Pegasus Knights are darting out in retaliation. King Leon Kerr just floating up on the high ground. He can now see this whole Wood army, of course, apart from these hidden units in the back. And early skirmish play going well for the Wood Elves in a way. They're doing some serious damage to these Mounted Yeomen. Looks like some have rallied over here, but they're going to be chased off. But they've wasted a lot of Wood Elf ammunition and done a bit of damage back themselves. And at the end of the day, Mounted Yeomen are basically mounted peasants. So I'm sure the Fae will not weep for any knights. Mounted Yeomen being chased off by Glade Riders. Really nice play here by Lupe. I like this. They can then swarm on top of these peasant bowmen as well. And it looks like they're going to be a little bit forgotten about by Zophos here. He does have King Leon Kurt netted, and the Waywatchers are going to be firing some shots in. But really nice play, forcing them off with just cheap and cheerful peasant mobs, which is what they do best. Peasants hurling themselves at Eternal Guard. And it looks like we're trying to get a big collapse on this right-hand side. Wild Riders getting ambushed with a downhill charge by so many Pegasus Knights and Ground Knights. They're getting deleted. The Eternal Guard are trying to help out, but they just do not have enough punch in them. In the background here, looks like these Glade Riders are riding back. I would have pushed on and just charged into combat against both units of Peasant Bowmen here, force them off and out of the battlefield. It helps the balance of power and stops them coming in late game to helping out. King Leon Kerr is taking a huge amount of damage. He managed to juke a few shots there by getting up into the air pretty quickly. Now, where is the Glade Lord? There he is, just sitting in the middle, coving some shots over, and looks like he is also trying to target down the king. Big wedge charge coming in from the Ground Knights, who do get Malkoff's Mystifying Mantle popped on them. They're just driving their way through the shield wall of the Eternal Guard and pushing their way all the way into the back here, which might be a bit of a... Oh no, it looks like they're going to manage to loop around and get a rear attack here as well on these guys. Nope, they're in fact going to get on the Hawkeye's Kira. I'm expecting a smoke bomb to be popped any second. It looks like Wild Riders are darting out of the trees, trying to counter that. Looks like the smoke bomb hasn't gone down yet. Big hill coming in, but Pegasus Knights coming in for a big blob fight over there. In the distance, we have a little bit of skirmish, Sisters of Thorn and so forth, but they're just hunting down peasants and so much. Not real good engagements. Front line slowly going okay for the Wood Elves, with those Eternal Guard. King Leon Kerr back up to full health though, and this blob fight is pretty damn key. Brownlate's taken a ton of damage. Defenders Fleur-de-Lis as well being pinged off by the Glade Lord and his Arrows of Kernos, but this engagement is going fairly good here for the Bretonians. Eternal Guard, yes, they have the anti-large, but they just don't have enough in them to drag down that many elite knights. Front line going well for the Eternal Guard. They need to lap back. They really need to bunch up here and defend those lines. Get these cav, finish off those archers so they can't punish a bit of a blob, and unite the Wood Elf forces behind one banner to try and deal with all these cav, which are currently running pretty rampant. Although we do have Glade Riders with Hadbane tips, slowing them down and doing some decent damage on them as well. Looks like, oh, that's unfortunate. Oh no, they've just rallied. Okay, we have a unit of Wild Riders rallying. They'll be going to come in and do some decent damage back, but they probably will be forced off. They're quite low health. And now King Leon Kerr, not really scared of these Hawkeyes of Drakir, being kind of forced around by some peasant mobs. He's getting pretty deep into this branch ray, forcing them away. Where is that tasty Glade Lord? Where is he? Oh, he's over here. Trying to unite his forces over on this side a bit, but he's going to be getting sniped out here by King Leon Kerr and some Grail Knights. It looks like... Did the smoke bomb go off? No, it looks like a curse has come down as well, letting those guys attack and their speed slightly. What's happened to King Leon Kerr, so these forces can try and fan out a little bit and escape, but the balance power is going more and more in favour of the Bretonnians here. It is a really tough matchup for Wood Elves. I've seen a few people make it work with flying Wood Elf builds, but it can be tough. Grail Knights are being kited into eternity here by Glade Riders. No, in fact, they catch the Glade Riders. These guys obviously not on skirmish mode, and but they don't take too much damage. They're going to be able to flee and kite this unit all day. There's a bit of pocket of strength here for the Wood Elves, rallying behind the Branch Wraith, destroying the rest of these men-at-arms. But unfortunately, it looks like the Sisters of Thorn have been caught, and the Hawk Eyes of Drakira are being dragged down here by Pegasus Knights. Not too much they can do, they can't really escape from this situation. Nice arrows of Kurnos coming from the Glade Lord on top of King Leon Kerr, and now he's going to have to quickly dart away and escape. Glade Lord pretty damn fast on his little horse, but of course flying is a better mode of transportation. So, what's happening over on the side? Grail Knights still being just kited to death, taking arrows and slowly being dragged down there, but at least they're distracting 2 units. Eternal Guard, looks like balanced power has switched into army losses as the Glade Lord was starting to get caught by Pegasus Knights, and that's going to be a swift 2-0 for Xiphos. That was a pretty damn close game though, going very good indeed. So, very well played to both players there, but our week's champion is going to be the mighty Xiphos. Oh, what a game. What a game. Oh, sorry, I'll sort my phone out now, get it back onto the chat so I can speak to you guys. Oh, it looks like Ben Val's been in the chat. What you've been saying? You could revive the Clan Wars Turin had, but someone somehow stopped doing it. Oh, he did what clans against clans, didn't they? I don't want to look like I'm trying to steal the idea though. So it's all slightly different, but you know. I'm sure he wouldn't mind too much. So, yeah, overall, just really nice play by Xiphos, wasting a lot of ammo on peasant mobs, forcing them forward and pushing back the High Elves, and those Grail Knights were just too much punishment with King Leon Kerr. Now, quite a cool skirmish build here by Loopy, but just didn't quite have enough DPS or punch to break through. GG, mate, I disagree with the army losses a bit, though. It was a nice game. Closely contested game indeed, but congratulations. I think they're just talking about the game now. You lost all your cav, my extensive stuff is still there. It was maybe a little bit of an army loss. I didn't expect the army losses to kick in quite that early, but yeah, massive congratulations to Xiphos, who is this week's champion, which is super good. No worries. Cheers for tuning in, guys. Seeing lots of thanks. Oh, Dave the White Lizard, you've literally rocked up at the death there. ODM wins, yeah. Oh, they always win. So, a massive shout out to all the people competing today. So, Xiphos for taking the final there, 2-0 against Loopy. We also had Pacta and Mudkip as well in the early rounds. So, massive shout out to ODM, really awesome clan, and thank you for participating. Of course, the idea only works with these guys in there, and hopefully we'll have them all back on the channel again, competing in different formats. So, unfortunately, David the White Lizard, you have missed. It was a civil war between ODM, so it was 4 members of ODM fighting out in the standard Death Before Dishonour format. And if I was you, I'd go back to the beginning and check it out. It's honestly really good fun. It will be all uploaded very shortly onto YouTube. It just takes a little while to convert it and process it up. I'm going to change that to 2-0 for Xiphos there. And yeah, so any last questions, guys? I will stick around for like 5 minutes or so in the chat. If not, thank you for tuning in. If you guys did enjoy and you're new, feel free to subscribe, thumbs up, all that all good, awesome stuff. I'll hopefully see you guys next time. Thanks for the fun event. No worries. Very sad, much ODM blood loss. That is true, unfortunately. Lots of ODM death has happened. Unfortunately, I was that job. Ah, lucky Dave, man. That does suck. But you can go back and watch the whole thing. It was good fun, and if you want, you can just skip through to battles, or you can just listen to my beautiful voice if you like. No worries, Part Map. No worries, Wicked D either. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's always good to see you guys back, and we seem to have seen a lot of new people as well. So if there is no questions, I will leave it all there. We need some not ODM blood to be spilled. I'm sure we can get these guys back and playing and wrecking carnage in other tournaments as well. So I'll let you go just a couple of minutes on the chat. Message these guys. Next, find 4 women to play this. Well, if you can find them. Yeah, well, give it a good go. Cool, guys. So it looks like we're all good. Thank you for tuning in. It has been an absolute blast. Once again, massive shout out to ODM for taking part in this event, and we're trying to do this in the future. I think it's pretty successful, so maybe we'll try and get some of the other big clans people mentioned before in here. So until next time, guys, peace, and stay awesome.